The latest in gaming news is all about expectations. We have a new post that gives us more info and confidence in the GTA 6 release date. The sequel to Minecraft has kind of been announced, and there are questions surrounding Black Myth Wukong coming to Xbox, stacking up about if it will ever happen at all, even coming from one of the sources of the alleged secret exclusivity deal. And as always, I do have a game for your wish list and your radar. A lot of people have subbed recently for GTA 6 news, and we're going to do our best to consistently bring to you whatever we see out there. But this is also a variety gaming news channel, so make sure you hit subscribe and the bell button. And if you're watching this later and you're not getting notifications, double check your notification bell. Some people got switched to personalized. Switch it back to all. That way you don't miss my uploads as well as my live streams. I do have a video right now on the channel. It went up this morning called The GTA 6 Problem. So be sure to check that out. And if you want to support the channel directly, consider clicking the join button, becoming a member. But when you do that, make sure you pick Member Plus, because that'll get you into all the extra content. So let's just jump right into this. We're going to continue to see speculation about the GTA 6 release date. As expected, I said there'd be more GTA 6 leaks and rumors each week, each day, leading up to the second trailer. Everybody's been waiting for that as well. The Take-Two earnings call is going to happen in early February. Now, my video this morning about the GTA 6 problem, that again, make sure and check that out. And if you leave a comment on the uploads, you can get featured in the live stream. It's a great reason to be there in the morning for those premieres. I walk through some of the main problems that I think GTA 6 will face, but I also talk about its creating problems for the gaming industry, and that has a lot to do with the release date. I've continued to say that the fall of 2025 release window is very likely, given how much they have said to their shareholders, especially in November of 2024, which wasn't even that long ago. It was just 2 months behind where we are right now. And now a new post seems to reaffirm that the game will be releasing this year in 2025. Gaming Bible reported the following. As spotted by GTA 6 Info on Twitter, Rockstar Games senior talent acquisition specialist Giorgio Jankowski posted on LinkedIn on January the 3rd that seemed to reinforce the idea that GTA 6 is still coming in 2025. So this is going to be an ongoing thing. When something like this happens, I may or may not cover it. I may do a short upload about it. I may include it in these live shows. So what did the post say? This is what it said. With 2025 kicking off and shaping up to be one of the most exciting years ahead here at Rockstar, it couldn't be a better time to have a look at our open positions and consider applying, the post read. This featured to show also on the post, they had the familiar GTA 6 promo image that said coming 2025 across the logo. So it's a very specific version of the logo because it does have 2025 baked into it. Another reason that I find it hard to believe they would delay the game, they've got versions of the logo out there floating around that say coming in 2025. So it would stand to reason that there has not been any internal indications of a delay, because you've got somebody saying, hey, this is going to be one of the biggest years ever for us, come and work for us. Now, we do have the two industry insiders, Jason Schreier of Bloomberg and Tom Henderson of Insider Gaming. They have theorized that the game will be delayed. They have not, though, indicated that they have heard anything, okay? Both of those gentlemen are incredibly reliable when it comes to insider information, and they don't have any information about a delay. They have simply said, listen, we think it is going to. I'm going to continue to come back to what I've been saying every time the GTA 6 release date comes up. They have told the shareholders, I think far too many times, that it's landing for it not to land. Now, some have said, well, they're not going to do crunch. They're not going to make people work long hours to ensure that it comes out. When you've given the shareholders the assurances that Take-Two has given their shareholders, they are going to be highly motivated to get that game out on time. If it does get delayed, I can't see it getting delayed beyond March of 2026. It would still then land in this fiscal year. It just seems unlikely, especially given how much they could get from holiday sales. Now, the current theme and the current, theory crafting that's going on about GTA 6 trailer number 2 is that it'll land on the 14th. Now, some think the 14th of this month because it's the actress's birthday who starred in the movie Bonnie and Clyde. Others are saying February 14th. That's a couple of days after the earnings call, and it's Valentine's Day. It would work well for the Bonnie and Clyde theme. So, right now, we wait, and there'll probably be more GTA 6 leaks and info and rumors and theories every single day. It is probably the single most anticipated game of the last decade, maybe ever. It's hard to say. But as far as other games that are anticipated, I don't know if I ever thought we would see a Minecraft 2, but it seems this sort of unexpected announcement took place. The game's creator indicated that he wants to make it, and PC Gamer reported the following. Original Minecraft creator Marcus Notch Person has stated on Twitter that his next game will be a Minecraft spiritual successor, and that he basically announced Minecraft 2. Notch had run a Twitter poll asking followers to weigh in on whether he should keep his in-development project current direction or put it on the shelf and make something more like Minecraft. He went on to say this. He said, "I got to thinking that maybe there are people who like my work, who do not share my taste in retro nostalgia, and would prefer me to make a spiritual successor to Minecraft." He said, and I mean, sure, I'd take that cash. So I appreciate his honesty and his candor about, hey, I would take that cash. I'm not sure how much he's made from Minecraft. I would imagine he's made a bundle, or maybe this was one of those things. Maybe he sold it too early, or maybe he's got too many cards, too many yachts, and too many houses because he's like, yeah, I would take the cash. It does also seem that this would not necessarily be called Minecraft 2, but would be the spiritual successor to it. Now, I'm curious to see if Microsoft would work with him, help him with funding, with publishing. They own the Minecraft game now, but he may want to just make his own thing, use his sort of name and notoriety to get it off the ground and make it, like, as he said, a spiritual successor, so that it wouldn't actually be branded Minecraft. It wouldn't have Minecraft 2 as a name. Again, Microsoft would probably have something to say about that, given that they own the property because they own Mojang. So that's where things stand with that. We'll see if that turns into anything. And speaking of Microsoft, the situation with Black Myth Wukong continues to sort of unravel in the wake of what I would call pretty embarrassing responses to the game director of Game Science saying the quiet part out loud about the Xbox Series S. Well, the dust has started to settle. And now the real question is being asked. Will Black Myth Wukong ever land on Xbox at all? Jez Corden of Windows Central, who is the origin of the claims that there was some sort of secret exclusivity deal based on what he was told from his contacts at Xbox. He wrote a new article about the situation, and this headline says it all. Black Myth Wukong developers say optimizing for the Xbox Series S would take years, begging the question if the blockbuster action game will ever come to Xbox. Now, he basically concludes that many folks are... He concludes something that I think a lot of people are missing. I don't think a lot of people are seeing the big picture. Based on the developer's comments, the game coming to Xbox is not something that will happen anytime soon. This is what he says. It would seem that even if there was at some point a period of time of exclusivity, the Xbox Series S parity clause is preventing the game from arriving on Microsoft's platform. Now, I'm not actually sure that the parity clause is the issue here, to be quite honest with you. Jez could certainly be correct, but the developer seems to indicate that they simply don't have the experience to deal with such a small amount of memory or optimization. Now, this has obviously become the focal point of fanboys as they claim, see, it's the devs' fault. It's not the Series S's fault. Listen, this completely ignores the causality in the situation. The devs are saying that this is such a huge limitation, we simply aren't experienced enough to deal with it. And apparently, neither was Larian with Baldur's Gate 3, and neither were the Xbox engineers who were trying to help Larian get split screen to work on the Series S. If your own engineers can't figure it out, I don't know why people keep blaming the devs. It's clear that the single greatest causality in this situation is that they absolutely hamstrung the S with a small amount of usable memory. It has 10 gig, but you can actually only use about 8. And people keep making the mistake of looking to the Steam Deck, which has more. Apparently, 343 also was not experienced enough with their own home platform because they abandoned split screen in Halo Infinite after they promised it. Now, some might say this falls on Microsoft to help developers since they decided to go forward with the Series S to begin with. And this is what Jez has to say about that. He says, if I had to guess, and in my humble opinion, the lack of Black Myth Wukong on Xbox is likely a result of Microsoft Gaming spreading itself too thin. Between the efforts to take on Steam on PC, integrate Activision Blizzard systems with Xbox, develop Xbox Cloud Gaming across multiple fronts, the investment strategy for Xbox Series X and S consoles seems well and truly on the back foot right now. He isn't wrong. I'll be honest, I think he's dead on here, and the sales numbers definitely reflect this. My own prediction has been that more and more third-party developers will skip the Xbox platform. Phil Spencer passively blamed Larian for Baldur's Gate 3 coming late, a Microsoft spokesperson passively blamed Game Science, the Black Myth Wukong developers, for it showing up late, and countless bleed green podcasters and talking heads continue to blame the developers instead of admitting what the Series S is. It's an albatross on this generation. And going forward, Jez seems to think that relations with third-party devs might be more bleak than in the past. He says, in another era, I suspect Xbox would have been all over getting Black Myth Wukong onto Xbox consoles if the issue was something as simple as optimization. But as we head into 2025, the investment in third-party engineering support for console games seems to be a general lower priority. Now, if his prediction is true, and I would think it dovetails rather well with my own prediction, that going forward, third-party devs will just start preferring PlayStation or PC over the Xbox console, especially after another PR nightmare like what we've seen with Black Myth Wukong. The headlines, the fan response, the subsequent videos, they don't bode well for the future of Xbox consoles and big third-party releases, especially as more and more dev teams look to innovate and leverage new technology. PlayStation offers a PS5 Pro with better ray tracing and PSSR, something that devs have shown an almost immediate interest in, while Xbox offers a weaker system that requires more work, and it's seeing a consistent drop year over year in sales. The decision almost makes itself after a certain point. I've continued to say, if you want to continue to blame the developers, you're free to do that, but all you're doing is motivating them to skip your platform. Nobody wants to be asked to do extra work to make their game look worse, and when it takes them too long to do it, or it doesn't come to market in the timeline that they were hoping for, they get blamed, they get chastised, and even the platform itself has people like Phil Spencer and spokespersons out here basically making it seem like it's not on them, it's not a hardware issue, it must be a dev issue. Well, I'll tell you, a dev issue you're going to be facing is that no devs want to make games for your platform. There's always a breaking point with tech and with innovation. You stop making games for the old system. The PS4 is already being left behind by first-party PlayStation studios. The Nintendo Switch is about to be left behind by Nintendo first-party studios as the Nintendo Switch 2 is soon to be announced and released. Eventually, you slide off the table because you're just not strong enough. The floor of minimum required specs on PC always goes up pretty much every couple of years in tandem with the tech advancing. Eventually, the Series S will simply slide off the table as the natural evolution of technology strides forward. The problem is we're only 4 years into the gen, and it seems to be already happening. So, we'll just have to wait and see just how long it can hold on like a white-knuckled person hanging off a cliff, or if it's already fallen all the way down. Now, I do have a game for your wish list and your radar, and this one is one that I've already talked about, but I wanted to put it back out there because this one continues to look great. It is called Hell Is Us. It's coming in 2025 to Steam, the Xbox Series consoles, and PS5. This semi-open world game has a focus on solving puzzles, exploration, and third-person action combat. We have heard that it's about 50% solving and exploring, as well as 50% combat. They say that the game has a unique exploration system. They say that no map, no compass, no quest markers. Following your instincts is part of the adventure. Enjoy a unique experience that uses innovative writing and level design to let you make your own decisions and follow your instincts as you explore. Your discoveries are yours alone. Now, they also stress that the world is hostile and that the combat will play a major role in the game. They say this about the combat. swords, spears, and axes. A wide range of weapons forged specially for fighting these supernatural creatures is available. You'll need to learn how to fight these monsters and use your drone wisely to stay alive. Now, right now, we don't have an official release date for Hell Is Us, so this could be another game that's eyeing the second half of 2025, and we're waiting for that, long-coveted GTA 6 release date before we know anything. The second half of 2025 is going to be rather dry with respect to no release dates until we know exactly what GTA 6 is doing. And just to recap, we do have a new post from somebody at Rockstar that seems to reaffirm and put more confidence in the GTA 6 release date of fall 2025. The sequel to Minecraft was kind of announced, and more questions surrounding Black Myth Wukong coming to Xbox, and the question is, will it ever come? And that's the news. Now it's time for the discussion. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I hope you guys have all taken a little watcheroo of my video over there about GTA 6. It's called the GTA 6 Problem. Here is hoping. I'm going to reply to some comments over there. Sane7527 says Rockstar never disappoints. Guys, make sure and smash that like button. Go through your morning ritual. Let me see who I have to thank here. And Han shot first, and so did you. There's the first gifted member of the week coming from Joker Quinn. And your goal this week is to unlock Friday Night with Madam. You guys have unlocked the Helldivers PvP games. We didn't get a chance to get to those on Friday night because we were having so much fun with Jackbox. So you get to kind of save that one and bank it this week. So the goal will be to unlock Friday Night with Madam. Now, yeah, Deserto's reporting upon this too. I saw this, that Destiny 1 received a very strange update, a surprise update, which I'm not quite sure what they're doing. Astacross was trolling the community, claiming there would be a remake or a remaster of Destiny 1. 7 years after Bungie stopped supporting Destiny 1, the cosmetic upgrade to the tower has left players very confused. The most logical theory is that it was part of a scrapped event originally scheduled for January of 2016. It was basically, they did something with the Dawning, I believe. People logged in and found that the tower was decked out with basically like Christmas decorations for the Dawning event. Nobody's really sure why. Maybe somebody did it as a joke, but yeah, there's obviously theories swirling now about what that could mean. What that could mean for Destiny. People have always said they've wanted a Destiny 1, a Destiny 1 remake or remaster. I don't know about that. I don't know if it would be in high demand. I don't know if people would play it much longer than an afternoon. So, guys, take a quick second and go through that ritual. Make sure that YouTube saves your like, that little thumbs up. And those of you that really like to be notified about my content, make sure your bell button is set to all. A lot of people had their bell button switched to personalized. So thank you guys so much for being here. If you're looking for GTA 6 news, the latest news is that Rockstar's hiring, and the person who posted about it on LinkedIn reaffirmed that this is going to be a huge year for Rockstar, indicating that people think it will indeed be coming this year, that the GTA 6 release date is on pace to land in the fall of this year. And a VIP from Kicking It with Timmy B, thank you so much. I do need to set the goal for the Super Chats. For now, I'm going to keep it at 5. I will gift 5 members. Enough of you go beyond $5 in your Super Chats. I still think it works to every 5 give back, because you guys have been so generous with those Super Chats. If it continues to be like every $25, I'm just giving you guys $25 back, we may adjust it again, but you guys have been so generous. Yeah, I don't even know who that was, Brett. Glad to have you back, Timmy B. Anybody else getting GTA fatigue, or is it just me? Sadly, the news cycle should pick up, Joker Quinn. We should have other things to talk about very soon. The Xbox Developer Direct. We should have announcements about that. We should have other trailers. We should have other release date announcements. We now have information about, apparently, things are coming out about a new Xbox controller. Things are coming out about a new console from Xbox. Sorry. DualSense controller for your Xbox. Hyperkin has created one that looks just like the DualSense with a PlayStation-like symmetrical stick layout. Oh, there's a third-party company that has made a controller for them. Xbox fans, when they see the DualSense Xbox controller, they don't like it. Yeah. If you guys are leaving comments on the GTA 6 video from this morning called The GTA 6 Problem, I appreciate you doing that. Wolf Saint says, so they're taking a page out of PlayStation's book by not saying anything. Feels that way. It does. It feels that way. It feels like that's what Rockstar is doing with GTA 6. Look here and listen. Says GTA 6 doesn't have any problems. The community does. It is well, hype and waiting can be a problem. I think hype and waiting can be a problem. Like, you can say that's on the community, but you can be a victim of your own success. Right? You can be a victim of your own success. Like, you made such a great game that people are like, well, the next one better be really, really good too. This is likely going to happen with Half-Life 3. You know, we have it on good authority that Half-Life 3 is in fact real. So that again is an issue, is it not? That you're just going to have people saying, well, it better be good. It better be an excellent continuation of the story. That's like almost automatic. That's almost automatic because people are going to assume you made something really, really great. You're going to do it again. I don't know how you can avoid that. I don't know how you can avoid, like, well, you did a really good job, so we expect you to do another really, really good job. Especially when your really, really good job game is sort of a boundary breaker. Silver Shadow with a $10 super chat tip says, I just got finished shoveling my driveway. Now time to sit down, have coffee, and listen to the broadcast. Thank you so much, Silver Shadow, and thank you so much for that first super chat of the day on the goal there. We haven't shoveled our drive yet. We got like 7 inches here in Louisville, Kentucky. It was a state of emergency, so there was no church yesterday, so we went sled riding with the kiddos, and that was a fun time. And we appreciate everybody. New subscribers, if you hit subscribe, you can talk in my chat. You do not have to be a member to talk around here. And I'm reading through some of the comments on the video. Chris Davies says, I'm aware how this is going to sound, but I believe GTA is way overhyped, and I don't think a lot of games will move around. There are so many different game genres coming out this year. Not all these people will play on release and complete the game they are playing it before, and if they want to play. Games will definitely move. Games will definitely move out of the way. I firmly believe that. I do not think companies are going to have that same posture and attitude of like, oh no, we're good, GTA's overrated. Game companies will 100% move out of the way if the game lands in November and you were planning on a November release. You will 100% move out of the way. And DK Beggar gifts another member. He wants to help start the week strong as we work on that weekly goal. We appreciate you guys so much supporting the channel directly. The game is too hyped. Oh, Javier, you think it's overhyped. Well, here's the problem, though. Let's say that you're right. Right? Let's say that you're right and it's overhyped. Does it really matter? If it's going to affect the gaming industry regardless of whether or not your assessment's correct that it's overhyped. Look at the viewership on the trailer. I mean, look at what happens when we hold a waiting room. We held a fun, lighthearted GTA 6 trailer 2 waiting room, and it was the biggest stream I'd ever had. Like, so even if you're like, listen, you know, it's overhyped, at some level, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It takes over anytime they do anything or say anything. They're not even saying anything, and it's basically all the gaming news cycle is about. Rockstar Games are always hyped up because of their successes they've had over the last 25 years, but they rarely, if ever, let gamers down. I think the story will be better and more focused than GTA 5. A $2 super chat tip from Smooches says, Reforge, happy Monday. Glad you and the fam are safe. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And Joker Quinn gifts another member. He's like, we got to get Javier Cotto back in here. And that is going to take us to 04. Now, Dan, I think you got a gifted. Did you just upgrade? you were gifted. Is that a brand new upgrade? Because I count those as 2. You get to double dip a little bit. Spider Senseless left a comment on the video. Although I have faith in Rockstar to ultimately deliver on game's best experience of this year and possibly decade, I know someone is going to denounce the game over something as small as not enough grass being animated. Unfortunately, I think the game is too big for everyone to love it. Agree. I agree. It's funny, though, that you say that. There's not enough grass. D the Great left a comment on my video. Guys, if you leave a comment on my latest video, it's called the GTA 6 Problem. Be sure you upgraded. Well, that bumps the line to 6. Thank you, Dan. Anybody who upgrades to Member Plus or VIP, I count it as a double. We're trying to get to 600 people at Member Plus and above. It's a huge goal that we have. King Slayer on the video says, release the trailer, Lono. We know you have it. He says, honestly, I think it will have a slight delay, but only to correct some last-minute issues. They have to release the game optimized well. It's a must. Only a slight delay, huh? Anthony Robinson was 17 months in a Member Plus. Count it. My number one gamer dude. I'm going to count it. And Detective Seeds says, cheers, man. Good to see you, Detective Seeds. Hopefully that new video and that new channel is well underway. And Paul Wright with the VIP membership says, hey, Lono and chat, Happy New Year. Looking forward to all the amazing games coming this year. Hoping Microsoft announces Halo or Gears. Thank you for 4 months of membership, my friend. And 4 months, and you're at VIP. That's a big deal. Usually VIPs are people who have been around for a super-duper long time. I appreciate that commitment, man. Thank you. That's very kind to be at that level of membership. Lone Wolf says, GTA 6 causing this has upset me so much that I'll be boycotting the game. How dare they cause the devs to not give us the release date of their games. Well, I'm telling you, and enjoy upgrades to Member Plus, and that counts as 2 members in the weekly count. Thank you so much, Enjoy, for doing that. It says time to upgrade. Get committed, boys. We hit that Member Plus and above milestone of 600, and we will celebrate. I've been trying to think of things that you guys might want to see me do. You guys always want to see me endure pain, and then we do it, and everyone's like, yeah, we didn't like that. Maybe make me go run around in the snow or something with my shoes off. You know, I don't want to do that. That's what it feels like you guys always want, is me enduring pain. And a gifted member from Mr. Grimm, and it goes to Soldier on Music. That's a long-standing member of this community. Good to see it go to Soldier. Garrett leaves a comment on the GTA 6 video. He says, at what point does Sony or other devs go up to Rockstar and ask if they can whisper the release date in their ear? Right? Like, hey, can you help us out here? We got to know what's going on here. Jack Garland says, lofty dreaming, but I'd love for GTA 6 to have that Baldur's Gate 3 status where it attracts people outside the genre like myself. Same here. You know, I'll say that. Same here. I would love to be sort of drawn to the game and enjoy it, because I just did not find GTA 5 to be for me. You know, it just wasn't my kind of game. And I think that's okay. I don't think every game has to be for you. But when you see these really big popular games hit and you kind of feel like you're the one person, you're like the one and only person that's not playing, you know, that's never fun. Like that weird, it's almost like self-inflicted FOMO. You know, it's like self-inflicted FOMO. It's like, well, it's not for me. I don't like it. But then you feel like you're missing out anyway because everybody's having a blast and playing it. Am I alone in waiting for GTA 6 on PC? I don't think you're alone, Hilly. I think a lot of people are going to wait. There's a lot of PC guys that just will not. They just have zero interest in dealing with console. And I get it. They've got their preferences. They've got their standards. They've decided that, you know, PC is the platform for them. You know, Hell Is Us for sure is on my list of the year. I've never played a GTA game since the old top-down version. I played a little bit of GTA 5 back in the day. It was for a Twitch bounty that it just didn't hook me. This guy says he doesn't realize that S is a huge reason for so many delays on Xbox, even from first party. Yeah, the ongoing conversation about Black Myth Wukong. Stellar Blades developer gifted all of the staff PlayStation 5 Pros and a cash bonus of $3,400. Good for them. A lot of PC gamers wait for Rockstar Games. Yeah, I don't think that's abnormal. I think that's totally fine. If if that's going to give you what you feel like is the best experience, you know, with GTA 6 gameplay, I'll just be glad 6 weeks after it's out, I can no longer be a consistent topic. Eugene, we just need the other companies to start saying something. Like, nobody wants to say anything. You know what I mean? I think we're going to get an Xbox Developer Direct announced this week. We can do some speculation about what'll be there, right? And then hopefully the Xbox Developer Direct gives us good gameplay, good release dates, whatever. Game Pass quests are coming to PC this week as part of the overhauled Xbox Rewards program. They're going to try to lean in more onto PC. That's where they have the greatest room for growth, they've said, is on PC. As a PC person, says Stonespire, I'll be waiting for the PC port. Why? So many games coming out this year. I still won't be done with them by the time it comes out. A new rumor claims that Xbox's next-gen console will be the Xbox Prime. It'll launch in 2026 alongside Infinity Ward's Call of Duty's 2026 title. The Xbox Prime, huh? I wonder if that's the rumored hybrid or handheld or any of the other stuff we've heard about. We've heard a litany of different rumors about the next Xbox. It'll be curious to see. That's interesting timing. 6 years after Series X and S is interesting timing, because it's not. That won't be a mid-gen refresh. When is CES? CES starts tomorrow, I believe. There's a Lenovo event tomorrow that Xbox will be in attendance. They'll be there to say something. I'm not sure what they're going to say. Xbox Prime actually sounds cool. I mean, make it look like Optimus Prime, you know, maybe. I don't know. I was trying to get that neck pop. Blaming devs that are ready to start skipping their hardware is such a stupid idea. It's definitely not going to push them to develop for it. Does CES start today? I thought it started tomorrow. Some interesting gadgets. NVIDIA announcement tonight. Oh, it starts today at like 6 p.m.? Okay. Well, I thought it was tomorrow. I thought tomorrow was like the kickoff event. I think you are misreading what I'm saying. I know it'll be the most sold game this year or not, depending on the release, but not everyone will go out there and play it. No, you seem to indicate that because it's overhyped, you don't think games are going to move around it. I don't agree with you. I really don't agree with you. I think that it is. You can think it's overhyped. That's fine. You can be like, well, I don't really think it's as good as everybody claims it is. That's fine. You can think that. Not everybody has to like every single game that's out there. My point to you is that it is so big, and even if you classify it as overhyped, that companies will 100% move around it. That was the issue I took. I didn't misread you. I read what you said verbatim. You seem to think that people aren't going to move around it. I think they will. What does Sony have? We already have the Pro. RTX 5090. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we all get the GPU we want without cancel and beat the bots. Oh, beat the scalper bots. On-stage showcases start today, and the show floor opens tomorrow. Oh, maybe that's why I thought it started on the 7th. Guys, thanks so much for a nice, strong turnout on this brisk Monday. If you're out there shoveling the drive or staying in where it's warm, if you're getting to take the day off from work, school, or whatever, I appreciate you hanging out with me. Be sure to hit that like button. Let's get to 200 likes. Thank you guys so much for already getting us that close. We're already working on the member goal. Don't forget to celebrate your member renewals. Good to see you, Donnie. Any game with a budget of $100 million plus will want to avoid the release date by 2 months before and minimum 1 month after. I actually think after is the more precarious spot to be, Donnie, because you don't know how long people are going to play. You know what I mean? I remember when I covered Destiny, Red Dead Redemption 2 came out, and for like 2 weeks, the player base numbers were down. And I don't actually think the Destiny numbers ever went back up until they did like their next season or something like that. I think before, everybody's going to try and dogpile before it comes out, because after it comes out is the worst place to be. because then everybody's playing. It'll disrupt player bases in virtually every game that's out there, whether it's a live service game or not. It doesn't even have to be a live service game. It could be just be a game that's trying to launch. Doesn't really matter. Like, yeah, I mean, the way that these games land and disrupt player base numbers and sales and marketing, I mean, you would want to be at least, I think you'd want to be at least a month and a half before GTA 6 hits. Goat Gaming is claiming I had an emergency meeting with Herman Holst. Yeah, of course. You know me. me and my boyfriend Herman Holst. You know, we had to get our heads together. We really had to figure out what we were gonna do about just all these podcasts out here that are, I don't even know what to say. So next gen is going to be a repeat of the PS3 era. I mean, going off the release dates of the consoles, Lono, since the Next is supposed to be next year and the PS6 is supposed to be 2028. Here's what I'll say. I don't think that they're going to be going for the power battle. I don't think so. You know what I mean? I don't think Xbox is going for the power battle anymore. Nah, shareholders would know. Whatever this thing is, this Xbox Prime, I have a feeling they're not going to be doing Power Leap. I think they're going to be doing, as Sarah Bond said, Technical Leap, which is not necessarily a Power Leap. That could be a hybrid Steam. That could be handheld, something, you know? Lono, do we think we might hear a little about Project Amethyst from Sony today at CES? Could be interesting. I would love it if we got an update on that. It feels a little early, Street Shadow, like Cerny just announced it. And given that it's probably very forward-thinking for whatever the PlayStation 6 ends up being, I feel like this might be kind of early. But, I mean, who knows? With the CES and likely, I would think, looking to get shareholders to be excited or investors to be excited. Yeah, it could be. It feels early to me, though. It feels early to me to do anything with Project Amethyst. It's like, well, maybe if they're trying to get new investment, or maybe if they're trying to get like people to come work or something. Sometimes I feel like companies like this make announcements really early because they're quite literally trying to hire. A lot of the times I know studios will do that. They'll be like, yeah, we're working on this really exciting new project. And you're like, wait, why did they announce this so early? And then you go and read the presser and it's like, well, this is the engine that we're working in and this is what we're hoping to do. And then they're hoping to get people to apply to come work. So I don't know if Project Amethyst is that kind of a project where like maybe Sony and Cerny's team are hoping to bring in new talent. But yeah, it feels early. I think Cerny's announcement will do for now. And if it's primarily focused on the PlayStation 6, I don't know. That kind of feels like with the way Sony operates, we wouldn't know anything till really, really close. No, I don't think I'll ever sell non-dairy creamer. Sorry, Stream Jesus. Who's playing Wandering Wave? Do you mean Wuthering Waves? For sure, I work in tech, and events like CES are also huge recruitment events. So, yeah, that's kind of my answer, is that if they talk about Project Amethyst at CES, it's recruitment focused. They're not going to say much. They probably don't have much to say right now. I think we'll see some Project Amethyst returns with a new line of AMD GPU announced, especially if AMD makes a switch to having AI upscaling in the GPU as opposed to FSR, which is software. Right, if they make any kind of breakthroughs from their work with Sony and PSSR. This guy commented on my GTA 6 video. If you guys haven't checked it out yet, I uploaded a video called The GTA 6 Problem. He says, GTA 6 does not have a problem no matter what, people will buy the game. The other game developers have a problem if they drop the game in the same month that it releases. Clearly didn't watch the video, LOL. I didn't say GTA 6 has a problem. I said this is the GTA 6 problem, and the problem being that it's going to get overhyped. They are going to face I don't know what you guys thought of that section of the video, but it kind of dawned on me that the two things that have become pretty stigmatized in the gaming world is live service games and open world games. People have kind of hit a fatigue with both. That people are like, you know what? I don't really care to play an open world game. And then there are people that are like, dude, not another live service game. Well, GTA 6 is kind of landing in both of those buckets. So I don't think that will affect its sales. It could potentially affect its reception. Like, one of the dilemmas could be is if you get into the game and they don't innovate enough, people are going to say this is just like the last game or too much like the last game. I don't think they're going to do that, by the way, but I do think that's one of the risks in doing an open world game, and one that then is going to have live service elements with online. I love when you catch people who don't watch the video. Yeah, it leaves a comment literally saying what I said in the video, that like one of the problems that GTA 6 is creating is an industry-wide problem. Nobody wants to announce their release dates. They can literally control the second half of the year by saying nothing. They can say nothing and control the second half of the year. No one will want to announce anything beyond the summer. Why bother with other games when GTA 6 has it all? I mean, I don't play games that way. A $5 super chat tip from Glassdoor Gamer says, Microsoft investing in $80 billion in AI and looking to cut jobs in gaming division according to reports this morning. What are they doing over there? Are you serious? There's more there within Microsoft or within gaming? Where did you see this report? Is it in Microsoft's like software side, like operating system side, or is it on the gaming side? You're saying cuts in the gaming division? Can you point me to that report? Between the Xbox Prime console and that, we'll have a lot of Xbox news to discuss tomorrow. GameSpot's reporting it. All right, hang on a second. All right, let me go to GameSpot here and see what they're saying. You'll never guess the word that ended the streak. Okay. I don't see... No, wait, here we go. Microsoft says that AI will lead to job losses. They invest $80 billion in the tech, but the opportunities that AI presents outweigh the challenges. Hang on a second. Let me get the text a little bit bigger here. What in the world? There we go. Oh, I increased the text size in Discord by mistake. In a blog post, Microsoft President Brad Smith said that AI, like all new technologies, will disrupt the economy and displace some jobs. Okay. If used well, AI will help lower the barriers of entry into many professions. Okay. They've undergone layoffs this year following this. In fact, Microsoft has said AI will be baked into every product. Whether or not any of these job cuts were due to AI is unknown. Okay. Microsoft is spending big. Smith went on to say advancements in AI could become the next revolution. I feel like you misread this. I'm not seeing that they're planning on doing more. What's good, Mr. Chosen? Guys, thank you for 200 likes on the video already. There are around 100,000 game developers in the world. In other news, a reliable Microsoft insider released the next home console, reportedly codenamed Xbox Prime. Yeah, I think you misread this report, homie. I don't think they just came out and said, we're investing in AI and we're planning more layoffs. The way that this is structured might make it seem like that. But I'm not seeing any evidence that they're saying, oh yeah, we're going to invest in AI and we're planning more layoffs. I don't, that's not stated in the article. So, next Xbox has AI confirmed. I mean, maybe. I don't see evidence of your initial claim. That's just going to, I'm just going to try and do that more and more. Like, okay, this is what's being claimed. Let's go look at it. Because, yes, everybody's investing in AI. I thought that it would be extremely weird for them to come out and say, we're investing in AI and we are also going to be cutting jobs because we're investing in AI. Do you see what I'm saying? That would be a strange one to me. You're sick of AI? Well, I mean, you're going to have to get used to it. I would imagine that it's here to stay. Woke up late, having my morning coffee, green now. Yeah. And sorry, Lono, we'll watch your GTA vid and comment. No problem, man. Anybody, if you guys do that, if you miss the premiere of my upload, circle back, watch it, leave a comment, leave a like. That helps. And your comments can still get featured in the live stream. I was going through and replying to comments here. I've got one here from Lance. He says, I used to be a huge Take-Two Rockstar fan. GTA, Manhunt, Bully, Red Dead, LA Noire. Did I say it right that time? Noir. They always seem to push the edge. However, since Red Dead Online and scrapping its huge fan base for more cash cow of milking GTA Online, I've realized they aren't the company I want to support anymore. Pure Avarice, has taken the reins and will likely why the Hauser brothers left, who the main guy was for Red Dead. If they can't support their second and most successful game ever because it isn't GTA Online, then it's time for me to find better things to do. Oh, and by the way, trailer is out. It's totally fair. What you're saying is totally fair. If that's how you feel, you got to go where you feel like you're being respected as a consumer. Another comment here from Feels Good Man on my GTA 6 video. Guys, go check it out. It's called The GTA 6 Problem. He says, I wish Rockstar could give us a GTA 4 remaster or remake it while we wait for this masterpiece. Likely all hands on deck for GTA 6 would be my assumption. Avarice? Sorry, I'm muted in Discord. Is that like a company that took over or something? Oh, avarice is an excessive desire for wealth, possessions, or material gain. I don't know if I've ever heard that word before. Today. Avarice. I think I said avarice. Avarice? Hang on. You guys know what we like to do here. We got to get the pronunciation here. Let me unmute my browser. Here we go. Ready?
Avarice.
Avarice. Avarice. That is such an interesting word. Is Reforge coffee best enjoyed with no creamer or light sugar? I mean, it's best enjoyed however you drink coffee. I have mine with Italian sweet cream. My wife uses like frothed oat milk. Some people drink it black. You've never heard that? No. Avarice is one of the 7 deadly sins. I've never heard it referred to as avarice. I've always heard it referred to as greed. Yeah. You're welcome for your word of the day. Yeah, leave another one tomorrow. You leave me a comment and just throw in some super duper random word, and you'll get me. People just say greedy. Game Rant, the next Xbox console had a strong AI focus and some sort of AI co-pilot. It wouldn't surprise me at all if hardware going forward is going to continue to do that. I mean, there's likely going to be some level of upscaling on the Nintendo Switch 2. So Valky Ray gives one of her many reasons for leaving YouTube and returning to Twitch. She says YouTube is focusing on shorts. They've told me their priority is shorts. Well, I think that's why they're pushing out 3-minute long shorts, because they're finding that funnel of content does incredibly well. So you don't necessarily have to do the super short ones, but it's not surprising to me that, somebody in her position would eventually land back over there, as long as that platform is, generating the revenue it does for people, for streamers, not for themselves. The platform doesn't do the greatest with revenue generation. It's not profitable. I will conform. Reforge coffee was smooth, says Hadigan Matter. It actually shocked me, and as I'm a coffee snob, I thoroughly enjoyed the Frickmas blend. I appreciate that, Hadigan. One of the reasons that our coffee is so good is because of the balanced acidity or the low acidity. That's what makes it so smooth. It doesn't have the bite or the bitterness that some coffees can have, especially if it's like a burned coffee or, you know, some of the darker coffee has that acidic bite. So greed is a modern English word. Avarice is old Latin. Probably why you only know greed of the 7 deadly sins, King James Bible and all that. Right. That would make sense. If that's sort of the origin of where the word usage started to split. Frickmas Blend is your favorite. Frickmas Blend is currently on sale, the cheapest it's ever been, along with our bundles. So reforgeroast.com. I don't have the coffee up here. This is not a sponsor. This is something that I've invested in. We have it shipped to the house. It's pre-ground. You know, we don't do whole bean because that I would have to order like everything twice. So there you go. My wife and kiddos ship that to you. They put little thank you notes in the bag. So when you guys order that coffee, you're supporting basically like a little small business that we've attached to what I do here on YouTube. It's another way of supporting what I do. So thank you, those of you that continue to do that, as well as those who gift members, upgrade members, and those who smash the like button. Also, double check your notification bell, okay? Not just on my channel, really any channel that you watch, but make sure it's set to all. A lot of people's notification bell got switched to personalized. Street Shadow says, from a tech perspective, I think, basically if this is true, YouTube will invest more improvements on shorts as top priority, but I don't think it will mean they stop normal video improvements. Well, and Valky's a streamer, so she probably feels what I feel, that streaming's not a priority on the platform. It's too expensive until AV1 becomes standard. If they can get AV1 to become more standardized on the platform, it'll be cheaper to service streams and subsequently make the streams more profitable. But until they do that, YouTube's just not going to prioritize something that's just so heavy and expensive. Live streaming is like really heavy and really expensive, and shorts can keep people on the platform and have the potential to generate a lot of money once they can figure out monetization. Monetization is pretty bad on shorts right now. And then longer form videos, 10 minutes, 15-minute videos are still going to be bread and butter of the platform, but they're not focusing on live service. I'm sorry, live streaming. They did that big YouTube gaming push, and they got some of the biggest streamers in the world, and then they didn't do anything. YouTube didn't do anything. They've done virtually nothing to live stream environments. They added gifted members, and they just added super chat goals. And how long ago did they sign Valky and all those guys? Tim. I mean, that was years ago, and they've done virtually nothing in the live environment. And I've just accepted the fact that I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. It's because it's not a priority of the platform. It doesn't generate the platform enough money. So, Color X commented on my GTA 6 video and said the game will not be delayed. If they do delay it, it can see them releasing on early access and updating it as they go. GTA 6 will not release in early access. No way. Of all of the potential predictions to come out of the discussions, that is at a probability of 0. They would not do that. I firmly believe they would opt to delay GTA 6 before pushing it out in early access. That I think is an easy prediction to smack down and say absolutely not. That is well out of step of what you would do with a game of this size and of this caliber. So mobile user experience is better here in YouTube than Twitch. I don't know if I agree with that. I would love to be able to stream on both platforms. We've obviously got, some plans to potentially pursue getting back over there, but in general, I think that they've got to catch up to how Twitch has things laid out. If you guys are tuning in for GTA 6 news, we discussed the release date getting sort of reaffirmed by a job posting. That is sort of the frontline news. I have a video right now on the channel called The GTA 6 Problem. If you want to go check that out, I walk through the problems it'll face, as well as the problems that I believe GTA 6 is causing in the industry. Nobody is going to announce anything past the summer until we get a date from them, from Rockstar. I should have been an English major. Today, I'd be married with 2 kids, a house, and even less money. Another fun fact about greed versus avarice. In modern terms, avarice is just considered a specific degree of greed. Greed is just a much more catch-all. Okay, all right. HDMI 2.2 has been announced at CES. 12K resolution. Jiminy Christmas, and just all those numbers. I'm not reading all those numbers. This guy says here, Who'sful says, is GTA 6 Online really live service because they don't do weekly updates like The Division or Destiny did? The world in 5 Online was so dead compared to single player, and everything has auto-aim and is not fun in my opinion. In single player, you have to play a boss-type girl, also not that fun. I probably will buy it, but wonder if I enjoy it. Okay, she isn't a girl boss, and you can play as the guy in GTA 6. Also, GTA Online is 100% a thriving live service game that generates tons of money. Like, holy mackerel. Like, super out of touch there, man. GTA Online is a super active, thriving live service game. I mean, I don't know what you're talking about. Lono will never see this comment, says the Cisco. Lies. What happens if it sucks or runs poorly on consoles, especially on the S? Xbox fans will blame the devs. LOL. I mean, I don't think it's going to run poorly on Series X, PlayStation 5, or the Pro. I don't think so. Is this what I would need if I was going to get your coffee since I have a Keurig? Yes, reusable K-Cups, Wolf Saints. Those of you that use Keurigs, you can get Reforge Roast. We actually have, I believe we have a K-Cups command. Girl Boss in 2025 is embarrassing. The problem is there's Girl Boss is a very particular type of character. Right? Excuse me. Girl Boss is a very particular type of character. It's not just, well, if the lead character is a girl, she's a girl boss. Don't be as daft as the thing that you claim to hate. Okay? Like, one-dimensional, annoying, they can make no mistakes, walk in the room, and they can do it better than a man. Look, okay, yes, that's a very one-dimensional caricature, and even women in Hollywood are saying now they don't want to play those roles. We've done this enough. You did it a couple times. You've done some movies or some shows where, you're doing the whole girl boss thing. And a lot of them are literally saying, I don't want to play that role. There's no depth to the character. The character doesn't learn. The character doesn't grow. The character doesn't make any mistakes. Okay? That's girl boss. And I don't think it's in great supply because nobody likes it. Nobody wants to play the role. Nobody wants to watch a story about that either. So just because you see a character in a game, you're like, oh, it's a girl, so I'm assuming it's a girl boss. I mean, how? The trailer opens up with her being asked why she's there. Like, why is she in jail? She's like, shrugs her shoulders. Bad luck, I guess. That doesn't sound like a girl boss to me. That sounds like somebody who won't admit fault. Like, yeah, I don't know. I ended up in a situation. I guess it's bad luck. Usually a girl boss is already succeeding. They're not in a position of failure. They just show up and they're succeeding. You might want to update that link, Lono. It said there was no page found. Oh, okay. Hang on. They were reusable K-Cups on Amazon that we found. Reusable K-Cups for Keurig. And then we used my yeah, here we go. I forget how to do it. I have a an affiliate, Amazon affiliate account. What is going on upstairs? The kiddos from across the street must be in the house or something, man. They're storming through. Tools, link checker. Is there? Yeah, there was a way for me to make a link So if you guys use the link, I don't know how to do it. Check link, please enter your URL. Yeah, I don't know how to do it. There's a way to do it where you like point people to Amazon and you like add your affiliate to it or whatever. I don't really care. There's a way to get a shortened link as well whenever you go to an Amazon item instead of like the big huge long link. I don't know how to do it. I think you can do it on the mobile device. Ripley from Aliens. Yeah, like there's just too many stories. Like, I'll tell you what would happen right now. I'll tell you what would happen. If Star Wars A New Hope landed right now and people saw the scene where Princess Leia is like, aren't you a little short to be a stormtrooper? And she's like, could somebody get this walking carpet out of my way? And the way she gives a bunch of guff and grief to Han Solo. I got news for you, dude. People would call Princess Leia a girl boss in episode 4. They would. She would absolutely ruffle their jimmies and they'd be like, oh yeah, what a girl boss. That's all it would take. Just the scene where they encounter her and they free her and she's not grateful and she's being mouthy to Han Solo. They would 100% call her a girl boss, like, because there's no thought behind the criticism. There have certainly been some characters and some shows and some things where that is that is certainly a trope that they've dialed in. I don't think that's what's happening with GTA 6 and Lucia. I don't see any evidence of that. I don't see any evidence of that. She's in jail, she gets out, and she's hanging out with her man. In one particular scene is an intimate scene where she's sitting on top of him. So her storyline is interwoven with a man. That's not girl boss at all. That's the opposite. A Bonnie and Clyde story doesn't leave room for that. It really, really doesn't. And so, you know, we know virtually nothing, but we've seen enough to know that the theme of the story is not going to be, oh, she's in charge, she's calling the shots. She got the lines in the trailer, but he has a line too, doesn't he? He says something to her in response to her, like when they're in the bedroom, whatever, and then they go and hold up a place together. What if Lucia is related to Catalina? That would be dope. I don't know if they're going to do connections like that. I've had a lot of people predict or question whether or not they're going to do something like that. I don't think so. It's just us that we're forced to play characters. Why can't we just make our character? But hasn't it traditionally been the way they tell stories in GTA, that they write out a lengthy story? Like, I think the can I create my own character discussion only comes up when it's a girl. Nobody asks that when they play Ghost of Tsushima or The Witcher 3. No one's like, I really wish I could make my own character. No one ever says that unless the character's a girl. Like, if you tell a really, really great story, I think it's more impactful when you have a character that I go through the journey with. Whether it's Jin Sakai or Senua in Hellblade 1, I felt very attached to them and their story and their journey, more so than if I just made some generic, you know, character creator that slightly looked like me. Like, the irony is that sometimes I feel like you end up with a more generic looking character because the character creators are somewhat limited. Does that make sense? Like, I would have much rather at some level, some games, just give me a character to play as, unless it's like a super, super long-tailed RPG where I want to customize every level of like eyebrow hair and jawline. I mean, New Sue would have a barrier ability. Yeah, the Fantastic Four and Rivals looking pretty good. Red Dead Redemption 2 was so good because Arthur. Yeah, if you would have created your own character instead of had a character. Character creators are usually not that great. Now, they are getting better. I will say that. I will admit that character creators are getting pretty dope and they're getting more advanced, for sure. But GTA is not meant to be like you come in and make your own person and make every jot and tittle of their face what you want. If you look at the artwork, if you look at how it's designed, you know what I mean? GTA is 1000% an RPG. I mean, the debate about RPG always goes back and forth because there are people who define, games rather rigidly. GTA 5 is classified as an action-adventure game. So, snowed in with Reforge Gaming? That's right. You're snowed in with me. Guys, let's get 50 more likes on the video. Let's get to the 300 like milestone. I've only been streaming for an hour. A great turnout today. We can work on the member count. Also, don't forget to use your membership. Your membership comes with a bunch of perks. You can submit questions with the question command. You can get into the Discord. If you do decide to support the channel directly, hit the join button, but make sure you pick Member Plus or consider upgrading to Member Plus. It's a $6 a month membership as opposed to $5. And that, I think, that's the best one to choose because you're getting into all the stuff. If you want a character creator play online, right, I'm assuming when you play GTA Online, you can create your own character. Isn't that like pretty much the entire premise of that? Is that you can create your own character in that? I would say GTA Online became the RPG with the role-playing servers. Does GTA even have skill points and skill trees? I don't think so. I don't know. I didn't play GTA 5 very long. It's classified as an action-adventure game. GTA has RPG elements, but it's not an RPG, says Street Shadow, and even the RPG elements vary. San Andreas had more RPG elements than GTA 5. You can create your own characters for GTA Online. Yeah, I would say from what I saw with GTA Online that it's more of an RPG with how people were leaning into the role-playing and, making their own character and living out that character in the world. You didn't have skill points, skill tree, and stuff like that, but they were still very much living out a role-playing fantasy. GTA 5 is not that at all. It's a story. Here's the thing in gaming that I really want to establish. You are 100% allowed to have preferences and desires, but you're setting yourself up for frustration when your preferences and your desires are aimed at the wrong target. I really like open world action adventure games with really good stories, whether it's Horizon Forbidden West or Ghost of Tsushima. I love these games, right? These games are my jam. All right. Assassin's Creed Origins would be another one that I really enjoyed. Now, that's what I like. Now, if I were to come to Path of Exile 2 or if I were to come to Path of Exile 2 or Baldur's Gate 3 and really bemoan the fact that they're not third person, that they're not open world, that, one's turn-based or one's extremely elaborate with the skill trees and the equipment, well, I'm allowed to have those preferences, but I'm coming to games that aren't going to give me those preferences. So I think a lot of times what's happening now is people have elevated their preferences to, imperatives. Well, this is what games ought to do. You ought to let me create my own character. You ought to let me, you ought to let me create my own character. You ought to let me customize this and customize that. Digital Foundry Direct returns for 2025 with myself, Ollie, Alex, and they're talking Switch 2 motherboard leaks, the higher quality GTA 6 trailer, Nintendo's upscaling patent, and Black Myth Wukong on the Series S. Lone I wishlisted Eternal Strands. I'm really kind of pumped for that game. I hope it delivers. I really do. That would be a cool game to kind of surprise everybody, right? Like, it would be a cool game to surprise everybody because a lot of people are looking at it like, oh, it's just another one of those like Unreal Engine games where they all kind of look the same. I hope that it's actually able to deliver a quality piece of content. I do. I like burgers. Why isn't this Domino's pizza in between two brioche buns? I'm just to this video. Hello and welcome. If you've never been here before, the name of the channel is Reforge Gaming. I do a variety gaming show where we sit here and talk about all the various things going on in the world with gaming. And GTA 5 release date was one of the lead stories today because we I'm gonna have to watch this later. It's like a minute and a half long on Twitter, and I want to watch it later, but I don't want to watch it right now. And the job they're hiring, and some guy posted on LinkedIn and basically said this is going to be a huge year for Rockstar, and people are like, oh, clearly he's indicating that we're getting GTA 6 this year. That's been a huge point of debate. But back to what I was saying. If you like the idea of creating your own character, if it absolutely drives you crazy to play as a woman, then why not go and play the games that will deliver that? Like, every time a trailer comes out now, if a woman's in it, we're going to have this discussion. And I guess I'm just going to keep saying, your preferences aren't the problem. Your aim is. Your preferences aren't the problem. Your aim is the problem. You just keep aiming at the wrong title. Like, that would be like booting up the first Last of Us game and being like, well, I really want to make my own character and I want to be able to name them whatever I want. And, I'd really prefer to play as, I would prefer the main character to look Chinese, and I would prefer the person with me to look African. Like, you can't go into games and start customizing them to that degree, because if it's a story-driven game especially, it's like, that's not what it's there for. It's not there for you to go in and tinker and adjust what the characters look like. It's like people have turned their preferences into what would be considered standard practices for all games. I have seen it with people wanting all games to be Souls-likes. I think that happened with open world for a while. If it wasn't open world, I remember when we learned that Final Fantasy 16 wouldn't be open world but open zone, and that was like, some people, that was like a deal breaker. They were like, I want it to be open world. I actually preferred the structure of FF16. It just made it better. Right? Open world I don't know. Do you guys remember that? When you would learn that a game wasn't open world, you have friends, or you'd see people on Twitter, they'd be like upset that the game wasn't open world. I'm like, dude, every game does not have to be open world. Oh my gosh. Like, at some level, I don't know about y'all, I'm getting a little fatigued with open world games. I loved how Space Marine 2 was built. I loved it. Just go here and shoot stuff. And I remember I saw some pretty negative feedback to that. People are like, it gets really repetitive. I'm like, but it's Space Marine. It's just supposed to be, mowing down aliens and feeling awesome. It's not supposed to be this big open world game with insanely diverse combat, It was short. I will admit, Space Marine 2's campaign was pretty short, but it's the kind of game where I don't know if you could have gone much longer. Some people get heated between turn-based or brawler or Yakuza games. Oh, really? Are there people that wish it was turn-based? They don't like if it's not, or vice versa? The 2025 Steel Seed game just released a demo. It's a single-player action third-person game with parkour like Survivor. Project Tower released today. Do you guys remember this game? It looked like a more casual bullet hell. Like casual like Returnal. It's got a 4 on PlayStation Store right now, which is basically an 8. Let me check it out on Steam. And there goes Chrome crashing. That is getting so old. On Steam, it has 9 user reviews, and I'm seeing all thumbs up on Steam for Project Tower. I feel like that was the one that some of you played a demo, and maybe that was a different one. I thought Project Tower was a little rough around the edges. At least that's what I thought you guys had indicated. But in any case, thank you guys so much for a nice, strong turnouts today. Continue smashing that like button. Appreciate you guys so much. We need 29 more likes for the milestone. And we're just talking about all the various things going on in gaming news. And right now, we're kind of interacting with the idea where, why can't you create your own character in GTA 6? I just don't expect that from every game. I don't. And I don't know why that is the expectation from some, It all stems from the fact that they want the person to be part of the gaming conversation even when they have no interest in the game. I mean, I suppose that could be it. I mean, GTA 6 is certainly a big game, and other people might be like, well, I'm not really interested in it, or maybe that's what they're saying. Maybe I'm being unfair to the position. Maybe what they're saying is, well, I would certainly get more into that game if I could create my own character. I don't want to play as a girl, or maybe, maybe there's no malice or hate in what they're saying. They're just like, that's one of the reasons maybe they can't get into it. This is Steel Seed. All right, let's check this out. I feel like I know this game. Why do I know this game? You're saying it released today? What kind of a game is it? Oh, this is the one. This is the stealth game where she hides from the robots. Yeah. Here, hang on, folks. Yeah, it's like a stealthy game, but it does look like there's some combat. I can't quite tell. Did this just release today? This game and Project Tower both look good. This one looks like it's a combination of Origami and like Returnal and Stellar Blade, like all kind of blended together. A wish list now. Oh, you can play a demo on PlayStation today? Hang on, I'll throw that in the wish list radar room. I'll add that, especially if there's a demo that you can play. That and Project Tower look pretty fun, if I'm honest. A $5 super chat from Smooches. GTA 6 Online will have character creation. People just need to be patient. Well, let me ask you about that. What do you guys think about this? I put this in my video. The video is called The GTA 6 Problem. If you haven't seen it yet, please go watch it. Give it a like and a comment. But I made this, prediction in the video. Yo, what's good, Mash? Basically, GTA 6 Online will likely not ship at launch. Do you think that's going to be a deal breaker? Are people going to get furious? Are there people who are such big fans of GTA Online, do they not know that it's not typically a launch mode? Like, do you think that's going to be this big point of frustration with people? Or do you think most people come to expect that they just know it's not going to be there at launch? Mash says, I love pizza, but I prefer to eat different foods and flavor profiles even more. I think of gaming the same way. The real diversity I care about is having a diverse platter of games and approaches. See, I think that's where you could really drive for what diversity would gain you in your game design if it wasn't superficial or something that people feel like is some kind of like forced agenda thing. Like, I think that there are certainly games where people are misfiring on this and they're declaring, that it's diversity or forced diversity or something like that. I think there are people misfiring, but I certainly think there are games that have made, there are certainly games that have been made in that vein, in that idea. And I think sometimes if the game itself was your focus, then the other things would just naturally fall into place. I've heard the GTA 6 will allow you to enter nearly 50% of all buildings in the game, much greater NPC interactions. It's going to be the most immersive open world game we've ever seen. Right, so I talked about that also in my video, Christopher. The idea that is open world becoming a stigmatized or fatigued genre? Is that going to be something that people bristle against? They're like, this is just too much. Or will it have the opposite effect? Will they say, this is open world done right? Do you see? Like, I sometimes get in an open world game and I feel tired from the very beginning. I'm like, oh, here we go again. But then other times it's like, I wonder if that's because I haven't played a good evolution of open world. And would that be a good evolution of an open world? One that isn't sprawling and seemingly, inexplorable. Like you're never going to explore everything. What if it's more dense than it is wide? Does that make sense? Instead of it being like spread out, it's more dense. And there it is, MASH. And a 20 bomb from MASH. He says, let's get this going, boys. And bumps the line to 32 members already. Thank you, Mash. I appreciate that. Every 50, I drop 5. Zubair says, did I miss I can't play as a chick commentary? No. A little bit. Somebody asked why you create your own character, and we kind of got on the fact that, like, you can in GTA Online, but GTA Online will also not be available right away, and I think that's potentially going to cause some people to be frustrated. I think they're going to want it day one, and I don't think it'll be there day one. The real question no one asks is, how come there are so few games that let me play as a parrot, says Mash. I think it's only if the open world is done poorly, and unfortunately a lot of open world games lately have been done poorly, but GTA 6, Rockstar, more importantly, knows how to do open world right. I will say that the last open world game that I played that felt like they really nailed it was Red Dead Redemption 2. I wasn't a huge fan of how the shooting felt in Red Dead, as well as just the combat in general, but I did feel that they got the open world right. BGS cracked the open world code a long time ago. Explore and discover and find meaningful things naturally. Don't make it a checklist of towers that you have to unlock over and over again. Right, Deuterino. Yes. See, I wonder if that's going to be something that they're going to have to face in GTA 6 is open world design. Like, density for density's sake will still do the same thing, will it not? If every couple of blocks of the city, if you break the city into quadrants, if like, let's just say it's a 4x4 quadrant of, if you like look at the map, right? And so you've got 16 quadrants. If every single quadrant has essentially like what Spider-Man 2 had, where, well, when you're in this quadrant, you get to do X, Y, and Z. There's banks to rob, there's a quest giver, there's a clothing shop, there's a this, there's a that. I mean, they could potentially get into the exact same rut where every quadrant is a copy of the previous quadrant. Like, I remember when I felt that in one of the Assassin's Creeds, I think it was AC Origins, I eventually was like, yeah, I'm just going to finish the game. I'm just going to finish the story. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to go to every single little section of the map and do these, like, do another chase mission, do another, sneak mission, if that makes sense. AMD and FSR4 continues AI upscaling, so I'm not super surprised by the requirement given the architecture improvements for RDNA 4 versus 3. FSR4 only works on RDNA 4 class GPUs. Oh, is that an announcement that's come out of today in CES? Seeing some people talk about it. I hear that about Assassin's Creed the most. The task list, the checklist for each area. I kind of feel like that's the $1 million question. How do you do an open world game? How do you do an open world game where that's not going to happen to some degree? What's the map going to be filled with then? Could you get oriented to a game where there is no structure? There is no structure. It's just an open world. You don't know what is on the corner of 5th and State Street. You don't know what's on the corner of 10th and Broadway. Like, you don't know. You just go and you find stuff. And it's all, almost like what they did in Elden Ring, where there was like this exploratory purpose where you knew there was stuff in every section of the map. And eventually, the game taught you that there were caves and that there were dungeons and that there were little points of grace to be discovered in every section. And yet it didn't necessarily do it in a formulaic way. Like, there's a formula to Elden Ring's open world and their map, but they didn't tell you. You sort of discover it. By the time you get to the end of Elden Ring, you kind of have been trained, as it were, on what to expect from their open world. But the issue that I always ran into in a game like Far Cry or Assassin's Creed is you'd get to a new region, and it was almost like, yep, here we go again. And all the little icons would show up. I got to new areas or new sections of Elden Ring, and I kind of just had the assumption there will be caves, dungeons, and they had 2 classifications of dungeons in Elden Ring. What was the name of the one? Dang it. Someone's going to put it in chat, and it's going to make me mad that I couldn't think of it. There was a particular type of dungeon that was like bigger and more elaborate. It was basically like part of the main story, wasn't it? Or like it wasn't necessarily, I can't remember how they did it. I remember using the one map, and it was like there were 2 different classifications of dungeon in that game. Not gonna lie, Elden Ring made me love and appreciate the Ubisoft formula because it broke me of trying to do everything on the map. I hated Elden Ring's map, and it made me appreciate the icons. Mines and catacombs. No. Oh, what is the stinking legacy dungeon? Thank you. I was like, it's some word like vintage is what I wanted to say. And I knew that wasn't right. I was like, vintage? I know it's not vintage, but yeah, legacy dungeons. Thank you. Elden Ring had no real narrative, so they could get away with just run around and discover. You can't do that with a Horizon game. I mean, maybe. Like, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, I'm not necessarily saying that you can't have icons or that you can't have, quest markers. In GTA 6, I'm more curious if they're going to do this thing where it's not like every quadrant of the map has the same things. As much as I love Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2, they definitely do that. And near the end, I just kind of get to the point where I just want to finish the story. I loved getting all the checkboxes in Spider-Man 1. I think I got most of the checkboxes in Spider-Man 2. I think I did. I think I went to every section and did all the things. I think. I didn't platinum the game, but I went to like each quadrant of the map. I don't know if every open world game you want that to be the case, because I think that's one of the reasons people feel a sense of fatigue the minute they get into an open world game. What is this? We're Department Goodville. No, I don't do stuff like that. Is GTA 5 like that? Yeah, what's the GTA 5 map look like? Is it like that at all? Or do they how do they structure it? I mean, it looks like it's just riddled with stuff, but maybe not in a formulaic way. Like when they pull up the GTA map, let me say UI. Yeah, it doesn't look like they do it that way in the game. Although this is on the GTA 5 mods. It's hard to know what I'm going to find on Google. On Google image search, I'm going to end up with like people have probably done mods and things to make the map more, more user-friendly. The Elden Ring had map markers, but you never knew what you were going to find. Discovery is always the key. I understand why people were disappointed in Starfield because there was no natural discovery. Spider-Man 2 Platinum is easy. I don't go for Platinums. Spider-Man 2 is the only game you ever Platinumed? I would rather have too many things than everything being empty. You can tell not many people here have played GTA 5. The map is wide open in GTA 5 with a bunch to do in it. Okay. I would imagine they're going to do the same thing. Stop making these hopium streams. They'll delay till 2027. It's interesting that you say that because the shareholders are the single greatest thing that would signal a delay. With you haven't really earned any respect just yet. What you're saying sounds incredibly stupid. So you think that in November, just 2 months ago, they told shareholders the game's coming in fall of 2025, but you think it's going all the way out 2 years from that. One of us is huffing on something, and it's not me. Like, if this thing gets delayed past March of 2026, they're going to have some pretty unhappy shareholders. That's a big revenue. That's a big revenue injection that they won't get. If this thing gets delayed past March of 2026, then you're going to have some very unhappy shareholders. And I've tried to tell people from the beginning of the ABK discussions on this channel that anytime you want to analyze business and what's going to happen and make predictions, you always listen to the money men. The earnings calls, the shareholder calls, that's what you always listen to. That's why a lot of the things that transpired in the last, 11 months or 12 months with the Xbox guys, it's like they couldn't see it coming because they weren't paying attention. They weren't reading the right star charts. So I'm being told this is the GTA 5 map by Wolf Saints. So it certainly looks like something that we're all familiar with, but this doesn't look like super formulaic. It looks like these are things you can go do. Instead of having like rigid quadrants where every quadrant has the exact same allotment of activities. I think that, again, I think that's one of the reasons... I think that's one of the reasons where people do get fatigued, kind of like what we're talking about with Elden Ring. Like, I think one of the reasons Elden Ring was so successful is there was a formula to the game. There was a formula to the open world, but it wasn't like Assassin's Creed where new city, bing, 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 all the same icons. New city, new town, whatever, bing, 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 all the same icons. And it starts to feel static. It's like, well, I haven't really done anything. It's like an old school playhouses where they would just drag a different background from behind the actors to change the scene. It kind of feels that way. It's like, well, has anything really changed? I don't feel like anything's really changed. I'm just in a new city or town with the same basic things that you had me do in the last one. If that makes sense. Lono showed the PS3 GTA 6 map. That's why it looks like that. Well, I was just showing the map to show they are using icons to indicate what you can do and where. But it doesn't look formulaic like we've experienced in games like Spider-Man or Assassin's Creed, where every town has like the exact same icons. Icons repeat in Elden Ring, though. You can always say where the next crystal where the next crystal mine. You had to discover it, though. Didn't you? In Elden Ring, you couldn't just be like, oh, there's a dungeon over there. Once you discovered it, it put the icon on your map. But you couldn't just like open up your Elden Ring map and be like, oh yeah, there's a dungeon over there. There's a cave over there. You had to find them first. And then it put it on your icon, and then it put the icon on your map. It's a conspiracy theory videos is letting you down. You do realize I lived off Highway 27 in Leesburg, Florida for 5 years. Highway 27 is a major road in Florida, not a conspiracy theory. The highway was probably the weakest point of the theory. The devs pointed to 27, and Rockstar limited their Instagram posts to 27. The interesting thing about people shooting down the conspiracies is that you guys always do it in a way that's really underhanded. You don't actually interact with everything that went into the theory. I didn't get put down some weird theory road with 27. I didn't like watch a bunch of videos and get like, whatever, like conspiracy theory pilled into thinking that 27 was anything. I saw Rockstar messing around with the community and thought they're getting ready to do something. I think that that's fair to do. I think that's fair to do. A lot of you guys really misrepresent that 27 situation. It was fine that it didn't happen, and we had a lot of fun with our waiting room stream. But to consistently summarize that situation so falsely, I don't get why people do that. It was not just like, oh yeah, this guy had an address, and it was on Highway 27 on a notepad in his office, or his picture or whatever. It was like, yeah, that was one of like 18 things that pointed to the number 27, including a car's license plate that they then blurred when they put it on Instagram, including the fact that they were intentionally limiting their Instagram post to 27. Like, listen, whether or not they were doing it because of that sale or doing it just to mess with us, to act as if they didn't do that on purpose, I think is completely disingenuous. They 100% were messing with the community with the 27 thing. That was Rockstar doing it. That wasn't the fans getting spun up into a tizzy with theories about moons in the background or some address on Highway 27. The address on Highway 27 was like one of 7 pieces to that puzzle. I think there'll be more come from Rockstar. The first clue was 27. Now look for the next clue. 27 was the end product of the troll. Yeah, I think that the 14 is the thing they're doing now. Now they have their Instagram post limited to 14, and I think they're once again messing with us. Hey, somebody ordered some coffee. Eccentric Engineer ordered 3 bags of the dark roast. Thank you so much, Eccentric Engineer. I appreciate you guys supporting the channel with memberships, with coffee, with the like button. Thanks for 300 likes. Thanks for all the subscribers lately. You guys are the best, man. We do a daily talk show like this. It's not always about GTA 6. We also this morning went over discussions about whether or not Black Myth Wukong will ever land on Xbox. That's obviously a big question right now. From one of the people that was the origin of the secret exclusivity deal, Jez Corden, thinking that it might not happen because the devs are saying they need years of experience to get there, and he's not sure Xbox is going to lean in support. The Xbox app via cloud gaming is coming to LG TVs. That was just announced by LG at CES. So let's see here. What else is going on? I'm just scrolling through Twitter to see if there's been any other announcements. The GTA 6 release date was seemingly reaffirmed by a post on LinkedIn. Somebody saying now's a great time to come work for the company. Please upload more shows to Apple or Podbean. The last show is December 20th. Have we still not uploaded any shows? What are we doing here? Come on, man. We got to get on that. We discovered that last week. They still haven't gotten any shows. What are we doing? We got to fix that pronto. I just got a DM from somebody. We still haven't gotten the... I'm so sorry. If you guys are trying to listen on Spotify and iTunes, we ran into a technical snafu that caused like a 2-week backlog. That should be rectified, I'm hoping today, if not tomorrow. Those should be those feeds should be getting their updates very soon. We couldn't upload for some reason. There was some kind of a glitch, and that'll be rectified ASAP. Boom, 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 boom. And CES is kicked off, so there's going to be a litany of announcements coming out of CES about different things, whether it be handhelds. We're hearing rumors now about the next Xbox podcast in Xbox console in 2026. That should be coming as well. One of the most proud trophies in GTA 5 is complete all the stunt jumps. Really? Huh. A $5 super chat from Dakota Green. When do you think we can expect pre-orders for GTA 6? I would imagine after their next trailer. Or the trailer will tell you when you can pre-order. That's what I think. I think they'll do a, by the way, one more super chat for confetti. Somebody can swoop in and steal it. JW always has been doing that. I think the next trailer is going to say fall of 2025 and then probably give a pre-order date. I think the pre-order date will be after the earnings call. The earnings call is on February the 9th, so I don't think they're going to let you pre-order before then. The earnings call is going to confirm whether or not that game's coming this year. It will, and that's on February the 9th. In about 30 days, we're going to know whether or not we're getting GTA 6 this year, I think. I think that earnings call will make it crystal clear. When do you think the new trailer will drop? I honestly think you're either going to get the trailer on the 14th of this month because they seem to be indicating that that's a thing. They seem to be indicating that with their trolling on Instagram. I also think there's the possibility that it is the 14th of February. That's 5 days after the earnings call, and it's also Valentine's Day, which would go hand in hand with the Bonnie and Clyde theme. You gonna play the first Berserker demo on the 16th? I already played the beta, so I suppose I could try the demo to see if they've done any more polishing to some of the stuff. I didn't really have any major issues when I played the beta, other than a bug. There was a bug where I couldn't heal. I had to reboot the game. The heal button just stopped working. I thought it was literally the area that I was in. I thought it was like a challenge. I thought, oh, when you go down here, you're not allowed to heal. I think something with the elevator maybe bugged it out. I can't remember quite what it was. I rebooted the game and suddenly I could heal again. Because like I finally beat this really hard boss. It was like a mini boss who was really fast. I finally beat him. And then I was like, I still can't heal. And there were so many other enemies in the area. I'm like, there's no way they expect you to get through here without healing. So I rebooted the game and it fixed it. So, that was I think that was the only major issue I ran into in First Berserker. So I watched a really great video this morning where he basically talked about the expected timeline for GTA 6 will be a trailer 2, likely some kind of a gameplay trailer, and then a trailer that focuses on each of the protagonists. One on Lucia, one on Jason. I think that's his name, Jason. And then I forget, there was a handful of other things like screenshots. He basically walked through the pattern with GTA 5, and he was like, this is what we can probably come to expect from the marketing plans that they have for this game. And I thought it was a pretty good video. So give us a trailer, listen to yourself. You seem to have lots of info. I don't have lots of info. So I don't think we leave the first half of February without having very, very concrete information. We'll either know that it has been delayed or we will know that it is coming. Because let's be honest about something, okay? They're going to sit down on this earnings call right now in the month of January. I'll just tell you what I think is going on. I think at Rockstar, over the course of the next month, they are going to be very rigidly outlining timelines for like each department within the game, within the company, and saying, listen, we got to go to Strauss Zelnick. I got a call with Strauss whenever, on this day, and I got to give him a date. This man's going to go to this earnings call on February the 9th, and he is going to want a date. He's going to want to have that confidence to tell the shareholders it's coming. Fall of 2025 is still locked in. Now, you don't tell your shareholders that in February, and then fall would be like October, November, okay? That's what, 8-9 months away at that point. I don't think you get within 8 or 9 months of the release of the game and misfire on your release date. I don't think so. So that's what I think is going on right now, is they're likely trying to lock in the date. Yeah, it's coming. Yeah. Well, the new number they're teasing is 14. And we have an It's Coming emote. Let's get some spam in the chat, guys. Let's spam It's Coming. Let's get these coming emoji spam. And also, Don't forget, you guys can use the question command if you want to change the subject, if there's other things hitting the gaming news airwaves that you want me to react to or answer or talk about. You guys can do that with the question command. That is something you can do as a member. I'm seeing celebration of the xCloud gaming thing coming to LG TVs. Man, oh man, do I really think that's not going to turn anything. There we go. There's the it's coming. It's coming. I knew it. Yeah. It's happening. GTA never had that many trailers, if I remember right. He walked through and said that based off GTA 5, there should be, after trailer 2, there should be a trailer on each of the protagonists, and then there should be like screenshots and other things that come out. So, I mean, that we'll see if that prediction ends up being true. Reforge is 7 letters. Gaming is 7. Reforge Gaming 14. It is Lono. He's leaking. I mean, that's not bad. That's not bad. Here's something you can do as a member to this channel. You see what Hilly did there. He typed question and he said, I missed the Half-Life 3 news. What's going on? It can pop up on the screen like this. Now, you don't have to be a member to ask questions, but as a member, you can have your question featured like this. So, the Half-Life 3 news, what's going on? Well, the person who has inside information at Valve and rightly predicted Deadlock, that game that came out and hit Steam, that same person, that same insider, has said that Half-Life 3 has entered into a playable state and is being played by family and friends right now. Family and friends of Valve employees are able to play Half-Life 3 right now. Again, this is the guy who has good inside information at Valve and said that, and knew about Deadlock before anybody else. So this is a reliable source. This is somebody who has gotten something right very recently. So if Half-Life 3 is in a playable state, I would imagine we get an announcement about it this year. We might even get the game this year. Although, anything that hasn't been announced yet that gets announced, if, like, let's say Half-Life 3 gets announced in, like, March or something, or April, or maybe they wait until the summer, it's likely not coming until next year. I just think a lot of big games are going to skip the second half of this year. They're just going to automatically bump to next year. I tell you what's going to happen right now. I'll make a prediction about next year. If GTA 6 lands on time this year, I think first quarter of 2026 is going to be stuffed. It's going to be absolutely stuffed. One of the reasons that you're seeing, and I talked about this in my latest video, in the GTA 6 problem, I talked about it in that video. I said that one of the reasons you're seeing a lot of games land in February and March is because game companies are trying to get their games out before the fiscal year closes. So they're trying to get their games out before the fiscal year closes. So the first quarter of this year is already stuffed. That's exactly right, WGC. And I got news for you. If GTA 6 hits its target of the fall of this year, first quarter next year is likely to be even bigger. Because everybody's just going to roll over. Everybody's just going to roll over into the next. They'll be like, no, just go. February, March. Just you watch. I'm dead serious. That the shadow of that game will loom large over the fourth quarter of this year. It will. And I think you're going to see a lot of games do that. They're just going to be like, yeah, let's just bump to February, March. It happens a lot. I mean, generally speaking, the last 2 months of every year is really slippery. Anytime a game comes out and says they're aiming, like they don't give a date, and they say winter, like, yeah, our game's coming out in the winter of winter of 2025 or whatever. I'm like, yeah, sure it is. You know what I mean? Sure it is. Like, you don't have a date? Well, it's probably not coming. It's probably coming next year. It's probably going to bump. Question submitted here from Stonespire. He says, the Steel Sea demo is on Steam, but I'm not sure if it's on PlayStation. If it is, will you play it for us? We're really trying to maximize my output of uploads now that we're going into the year, the new year with our new content plan. That's going to make it really, really difficult to do some of those late afternoon gaming sessions where I would just like try out games with you guys. So maybe, I'll tell you maybe. Yo, this guy says, yo, I'm a video. Yo, if you guys haven't checked out my video, the GTA 6 problem, be sure to check it out. Give it a watch-a-rooney, give it a like, give it a comment. There's a lot of comments on the video already. Winter of 2025, is that northern or southern hemisphere? I don't know. Oh, as far as like when it's declared winter, I don't know if it's a hemisphere thing, right? Isn't the first day of winter in like December? This says the first day of winter is like December 1st. Sometimes in the northern hemisphere, it's considered December 21st. Yeah, I actually think, generally speaking, within gaming, they'll say fall, and then they'll say like holiday a lot of the times. Nobody cares about the southern hemisphere. I'm not saying that. December 21st? Right. This guy says, so we forget the best open world, Red Dead Redemption 2. Calling Elden Ring open world experience is crazy. Rockstar Games is the king of open world games, whether you like it or not. GTA 5 faced the same hype challenge and exceeded expectations, so you can't say anything. Elden Ring open world is trash. Sorry. Elden Ring is the most praised open world game in recent memory, and it was Game of the Year. But okay, sure. It is trash. Like, what? Elden Ring is one of the most praised open world games. I'm not taking away from Red Dead Redemption 2. I was going off of, in recent memory, Breath of the Wild and Elden Ring is what everybody talked about as being like, this is innovative open world. This is crazy. This is something that deserves praise, and they both won Game of the Year. So you can call it trash, but like, that's one of the things that Elden Ring was quite literally praised for, was that its open world was incredible. I've always said the first half of Elden Ring is almost perfect. The exploratory purpose, the sense of discovery, it's unmatched. You don't have to like it, that's fine, but watching live from Avica. Well, hello. Thank you for watching. Red Dead craps on both of them, honestly. Listen, Red Dead Redemption 2 being good open world game doesn't elevate it to the degree that you can say it craps on Elden Ring and Breath of the Wild. You talk about overhyping something. Like, to be fair, Red Dead 2 was the year after Breath of the Wild. Right, and in my recollection, in the realm of talking about open world games, Breath of the Wild was talked about way more with respect to that. Now, Red Dead Redemption 2, people talked about the story, they talked about the graphics, they talked about the art direction, they talked about the characters, they talked about the world. Open world was certainly there, but and again, I was primarily playing Destiny back then, and all I ever heard from people was how incredible the open world in Breath of the Wild was. And I played Red Dead 2, and I loved it. I thought the open world was great. I'm not knocking it at all. But to say that Red Dead Redemption 2 craps on Breath of the Wild and Elden Ring, I mean, I think that's hyperbolic. I think they're all good in their own right. It does. Not those games that are bad. That's just how good Red Dead is. That's all Breath of the Wild really had that was good. Why are we unable? Why are we unable to praise games just because we might not have liked them that much? Jiminy Christmas. That's all that was good about Breath of the Wild. That game won Game of the Year as well. Like, on a technical level, Elden Ring feels like PS3 era. Good golly. I mean, listen. These are all good games, but to act like it's that extreme, that like Red Dead's open world is so great that it's so much better than Breath of the Wild and Elden Ring. That seems insane to me. Red Dead's open world is unmatched. It's like a simulation of an actual world. Okay, let's just get a hold of ourselves here, okay? I literally sat in one spot in Red Dead and farmed the wagons that would come almost on a timer across the one pathway. Like, just settle down. Just settle down a teeny bit. Like, Red Dead was an open world to the degree of quality that we saw from Elden Ring. Predictable things would happen. Things on a timer. I remember sitting at a spot and I knew, like clockwork, I could have a wagon come and I can hold up the wagon and deliver the wagon to the fence. I remember doing it. I remember playing bumper horses. There was areas where you could go and you knew somebody would come along on a horse like clockwork and I could run into them with my horse full speed and knock them and their horse down. Like, I get it. Red Dead's open world was great, but you're acting like it was on a level of heavenly status that I'm not quite sure. I don't think that praise is needed. I think in the grand scheme of things, Breath of the Wild, Red Dead 2, and Elden Ring are some of the best open world games ever created. I don't think one of them is above the other. I think they're all great in their own way. And the reason that I didn't reference Red Dead in the video is I was talking about the gaming world at large experienced Breath of the Wild and Elden Ring to a degree that made a lot of people say, man, I'm getting a little tired of open world. Like, these games were so great, and then they go into other open world games, and they're like, yeah, not so much. I wasn't giving a history of Rockstar Games. I was looking at the gaming world at large and saying, gamers of today have had high heights of experiences in open world games that will make them come to a game like GTA 6 and say, this better be innovative. This better be good. I've played some of the best open world games. And I think Red Dead's probably in the discussion as well, but for different reasons. The point I was making in that part of the discussion was about the gaming industry or the gaming world at large, right? I wasn't necessarily saying, oh, these games are so much better than Rockstar Games. In the Rockstar history, it probably would have rounded out the video and made it a little bit better to be like, and lest we forget that not only did we have these two games do an amazing open world, but Rockstar made an amazing open world in Red Dead 2 that will likely be pushing people's expectations for GTA 6 even higher. Yeah, I saw the trailer for Project Tower, yeah. Look, I saw some reviews on Steam that said it's like Returnal but easier, is one of the reviews that I saw. It has almost all positive reviews on Steam. It's got an okay score on PlayStation. It has an 8. Anytime a game drops immediately to like a 4 out of 5 on PlayStation, it may have some rough edges, so I would proceed with caution. Bear said, no, I've been pushed too far. I'm joining the anti-Red Dead Redemption 2 mob now. I'm with you, says Eugene. Skyrim is better. Everyone's wrong. Rockstar are the masters of open world. The fact that their game from 2013 still blows out of the water even a decade later says it all. Right. You guys are having a different discussion than the one I had in the video. My video was simply establishing that we have had huge celebrated open world games in the midst of open world and live service have become stigmatized terms. People are sometimes like, I don't want another open world game. I don't want another live service game. And I was simply saying that is a challenge for GTA 6 people are going to come to the game and be like, I've played an awful lot of open world games. I've played an awful lot of live service games. You better bring some innovation. If you don't, then it's going to feel like you didn't make good on what Strauss Zelnick said, which is every time they continue a franchise, it does better than the last time. And if that's going to happen with GTA 6, you've got to consider that. You've got to consider the fact that people have gotten a little tired of live service. People have gotten a little tired of open world. Now, GTA 6 is not live service out of the box. It comes later, but there's still going to be expectations about GTA 6 Online. And people have gotten to that point. Now, let's say GTA 6 Online comes out and it's a smash hit. That's going to compound another problem that I've talked about. That's one of those things where I said GTA 6 problem is not just its own problems that it might face. It's going to create problems for the industry. If you're trying to create a live service game and GTA 6 comes out and it's online as a banger and it's hugely popular, that's just one more funnel soaking up players. Live service fatigue, sure, but I've never heard of open world fatigue. Oh, yes. The last couple of times we've seen games announced, people are like, it's just another open world game. It's just another open world game. That's something people have gotten tired of. Believe me, they have. Now, some of that might be fatigue with Ubisoft open world games, but I myself have gotten fatigued with open world games. I really like the fact that FF16 wasn't open world, or that Space Marine 2, or that Stellar Blade wasn't open world. When I played Rise of the Ronin, I think I would have preferred Rise of the Ronin to not be open world. I think it would have gotten better performance. I think its performance would have been more stable. They could have potentially pushed the graphical style of the game a little bit harder than they did. And I think it would have been a more streamlined and better experience. I mean, that's just my preference, but I definitely think there are people getting open world fatigue, because I much preferred the pacing of Stellar Blade over Rise of the Ronin. And they were both games I really enjoyed last year. What open world games have flopped as of late? Well, I don't necessarily know if they've flopped, but Star Wars Outlaws didn't do very well. That was an open world game. The planets themselves, when you land on them, were extremely open world, and it was a lot of what you come accustomed to. Driving around for what feels like forever, coming across little instances and scans and fights to do, and little outposts to go in. Avatar Frontiers of Pandora was open world. It was very much copy-paste Far Cry open world. Was not received very well. Forspoken was open world. Didn't do very well for varying reasons. Rise of the Ronin did very well. It was, I think, their highest... I believe it was their highest selling game. It broke their previous records. It did well, but even I myself said that the open world got really old in Rise of the Ronin. Kill the Justice League flopped for not because it was open world. Not because it was open world, but because it was a bad live service game and that it did things with a story that people didn't want to see and didn't want to interact with or partake in. I don't think if anybody was to make a list of why Kill the Justice League failed, I don't think anybody would say it was because it was open world. But I believe we just listed a handful of open world games that didn't do well. And I think sometimes that's why people are like, man, I am so freaking tired of having this gigantic open space where I got to go check every nook and cranny. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I really like Spider-Man 2 and Horizon Forbidden West, but I liked God of War Ragnarok a whole lot more, because I think the open world just starts to wear me down. I'm like, oh man, can we just kind of get to the next thing? Can I just, it's not that I had a bad time in Horizon or Spider-Man. I didn't have a bad time, but I definitely feel like the open world starts to make me feel fatigue. Maybe I'm projecting my own bias onto the consumers that are out there, but I happen to think there's probably a lot of people that are like, yeah, I'm getting a little tired of open world. It's, we don't need every game to be open world. Eugene says, I get open world fatigue if I play more than 2 open world games back to back. Jack Danger says, open world fatigue exists. I think during the PS4 gen, people were tired of games announcing open world at that time. Ubisoft was pushing every IP to be open world. Kind of adds to the fire. Yeah, I'm also tired of all the snakes on this plane. I know I'm in the minority, but I like Horizon over God of War. I don't think you're in a minority. I think Horizon has been incredibly successful as a franchise. Like, I think it sold a junk ton as far as new IPs are concerned from Sony. It's been one of the more successful. Another open world game that didn't do very well, Starfield, does not have a good user score. Its DLC, Shattered Space, terrible. Like, one of the worst scored DLCs I think I've ever seen. Spider-Man's an open world I never got tired of. Platinum 2 out of 3. The last open world game that I really, really enjoyed doing every single stinking thing was Arkham Knight. I got like a 200% in that game. I couldn't get enough. Nothing beats a well-paced, fairly linear mission chapter-based game. I'm really liking that in Plague Tale Requiem. I love the feel of it. It's perfect for my life right now. I sit down, I play through a section, and then I roll, new chapter, new checkpoint, boom, set it down. The only thing I'm not a huge fan of in Plague Tale Requiem is they did this in the first game. They set up these instances where they have like a very particular solution in mind. And if you step wrong and you don't do it in the way that they kind of determined that you should do it, you fail. There was one last night I had to do it where I had a crossbow and I had to get to cover and get arrows and use the arrows very sparingly. And if you made like the slightest misjudgment, like the one time I used the crossbow instead of my sling, I didn't have an arrow for the guy with the helmet. Like, sometimes they do that in Plague Tale. They're like, it's almost like a combat puzzle combined. I'm starting to see the game that way, so it doesn't annoy me, but I'm not the biggest fan of it. It's like they take their principles of a puzzle and they apply it to the combat scenario that you're about to go into. It's like, you need to do things in the proper sequence or you will fail. That is sometimes something in Plague Tale that I'm not a huge fan of, and yet that is going to happen when you have a more linear experience. It's not open world. You can't kind of like in Horizon, you can come up with your own solutions to certain fights and certain scenarios and certain sections, and there are sections of Plague Tale Requiem where they're like, you cannot come up with your own solution here. You need to do it in this order or you're going to die. It feels like a quick time event in disguise, but the reason I do like it, and I don't fully dislike it, it's not my preference, but the reason I do like it is it isn't just a quick time event. I get to kind of determine the flow of the fight and the shots that I'm taking instead of just responding and hitting buttons at the appropriate time. So there are extremes on either side. I think you can go way too far into the open world and give people this sense of like almost like futility. But then you can also go in the other direction if it's too linear, too rigid, too scripted. I don't feel like I'm part of the game anymore. I feel like I'm just sort of being directed to press this button at the appropriate time and that button at the appropriate time, and then I don't feel like I'm in control of anything. That was largely how I felt in Hellblade 2. Hellblade 2 felt like a super on-rails scripted encounter. Which some people liked it, I did not. Guys, really quickly, as we're discussing this, make sure and smash the like button. Let's try to get 60 more likes on the video. Taking some questions here from the members. This is something you can do if you're a paying member or a gifted member on the channel. Retro asked the question, what's your take on the Ashes of Creation situation with Narc? Steven, the founder and creator of the game, and Asmongold, if you're aware. I have no idea what you're talking about. I saw Asmongold had a video that said about Ashes of Creation, and I was like, oh, let me check out what Zach's saying. And it was like a 3-hour-long video, and I was like, oh, I'm good. I don't have time for that right now. What's the situation? If you can give me a too long didn't read. Ashes of Creation was, I thought, doing well, and they did something with the engine. At some point, they switched to Unreal 5, I believe. The more I play Nine Souls, the more I think it was robbed this year. What was Nine Souls' release date, though? When did it release? May? When did it release on PlayStation, though? It released on Steam in May, but didn't have a different release date on PlayStation and the consoles. I thought it staggered. That might have hurt it, honestly. What was its PlayStation release date? This says initial release date was May. November 26th. That's probably what hurt it, brother. They staggered the release date. It's hard to get a lot of attention and notoriety, especially from review outlets, when you drop it on Steam in May and then late November, like November 26th, like the week of Thanksgiving. That probably really hurt it. The press probably didn't pay much attention to it, which is unfortunate. You got to be careful with your release dates. I mean, you do. One of the worst times to release a game would be like after Christmas when all of the people are home and not working. And a 5 super chat adds to the confetti and adds to the count of members. Ashes of Creation developer hopped on a live stream with Asmon to defend his game. Oh, like the lead guy? Isn't that like a passion project? I will gift 5 members. I'm pretty sure the Ashes of Creation game, isn't that like a passion project for that guy? It's I don't even know if they have a super big studio. Why did he feel that he needed to defend the game? The timeline, the update schedule, the release schedule. What are people upset about that he felt the need he needed to defend his game? Nine Souls launched in the same year as Wukong and Elden Ring DLC and Astrobot as well. You're going to have a hard time getting attention when your game releases on Steam and then months later, after Thanksgiving, after the Game Awards window has closed. You know, when's GTA releasing? It's going to release when you stop spamming. So I guess never. Are they calling it woke? I don't know. That's what I'm asking. I wasn't going to watch a 3-hour-long video about that. I'm not that interested in the game. The reason I'm not that interested in Ashes of Creation is PvP is like on all of the time. If you guys are tuning in for GTA 6 news and you're wondering about the release date, the release date is still, I think, on pace for the fall. They posted something on LinkedIn saying it's a great time to come work at the company. They have an earnings call on February the 9th. I think by the time we get halfway through February, we will know whether or not it's happening after the earnings call. So you'll probably know on the 9th, February the 9th, whether or not it's making it. Smooches. Okay, he claimed he has $50 million invested into the game. Narc made a hate video of the game and why he's leaving. Ashes of Creation is in early access. Dude upset he spent $250 on an unfinished game. So is Narc a YouTuber, or did he work at the company and he left the project? Thank you for the membership. You are welcome. Lots of eyes on the earnings call, for sure. For sure. I think GTA 6 Trailer 2 lands on January the 14th or February the 14th. I think it's one of those dates. Yeah. Narc is a YouTuber content creator. He spent $250 and has probably made 10 times that in content. Yeah, let's see here. Let's see here. Narc, Ashes of Creation. Okay. All right. Go to Narc's channel. 61,000 subscribers. Goodbye, Ashes of Creation. 150,000 views. Okay. How long has he been covering Ashes of Creation? Ashes lore 4 years ago. So he's been doing this for 4 years. Ashes of Creation lore videos 4 years ago. Okay. So his YouTube channel has amassed 11.6 million views, and he has 61,000 subscribers. Yeah, PK clips. You don't have to just keep spamming hi. Call my name. Yeah, there's no reason to let people like you chat here. You're not here to chat. You're just annoying. Loading gonna be eavesdropping today. Okay. I mean, I would need to know more about this content creator named Narc. It looks like he's had a fairly good career on YouTube in 4 years' time. Okay, it took us 3 years to go from 5,000 subs to 50. It looks like it took him about 4 years to have a similar journey. He's at 61,000 subscribers. His most watched content is Guild Wars, Black Desert Online, and then his recent video saying goodbye Ashes of Creation. Okay. So, you know, if he's upset and he feels like he backed the project with money and is angry about that and feels like he needs to walk away from the game and content creation, I mean, he has to make the decision that he feels is best for him. And also in line with his standards and his beliefs. Right? I don't know him. I don't know the situation. It sounds to me like he got to a point where he was like, enough is enough. I'm kind of done with your game. I don't know what brought him to that point, but I think a lot of people get there. I think with games, and this is one of the things I talked about, actually. I believe I spoke on this in the past with respect to games like Ashes of Creation, is transparency is great. Letting people see behind, letting people see what you're working on, letting people see sort of how the sausage is made, that actually is good. But it comes with great risk, because what you do is you end up tuning people in to your game, your project, or your processes well before you probably should. Because what happens is they're going to get annoyed, bored, they're going to get tired, they're going to be like, yo, when's the game coming out? And I think everybody has that breaking point where they're like, yeah, enough is enough. I've been waiting, I've been supporting, I've been spending money, whatever. What is Asmon in all this? I believe Asmon reacted to Narc's video, and then creator of Ashes of Creation came in and made his and basically defended the game on a call with Asmon. He lied about the dev, calling him a scammer. He did that for engagement. Yeah, I would always be very leery of calling something a scam just because it hasn't come out yet. People have done this with Star Citizen. They're like, it's a scam. I'm like, aren't there really, really happy consumers that have funded, paid for the game, and are playing the game right now? That doesn't sound like they've been scammed if they're happily playing and continuing to spend and continuing to support. Again, that doesn't sound like a scam to me. That sounds like you've got some pretty, you got some pretty happy people there, right? I don't know. I feel like people throw around the word scam a little too liberally these days. If they're being upfront and they're letting you know where they are in the process of the game, and they're allowing people to support the game directly if they want, I wouldn't consider that to be a scam. A scam would be like, pump and dump NFT scams. I mean, that's a scam where you literally design, an NFT or crypto to basically pump and dump on people. You get people to invest in it and pump up its value, and then you dump it, and then you make a ton of money. Yeah, I think scam gets thrown around way too much. PS5 Pro is a scam. If a game dev's kind of letting you see behind the curtain, that's a scam if it takes out too long. I would need more details. I think he's well within his right to say, this has taken too long, I'm out. I've supported you, I've given you X amount of dollars. I also think the developer is well within his right to come out and defend the game and to be like, look, man, this is where we are, this is how much I've invested in it, and this is the timeline that we're on, A $5 super chat from Smooches, once again bumping that super chat goal. AO's Ashes of Creation developer Steven Sheriff is one of the most transparent I'm aware of right now. I like to see him stand up for his game, and it makes me want to buy it. Right, and I think what he's doing is admirable and good, but it comes with risk. It just comes with risk because people get invested, people get really excited, and then they get impatient. That's kind of the pattern, right? People get really excited, they get really interested, they get invested, maybe they actually invest money, and then they get impatient. And they're like, what's going on? Where's the game? Playable demo, playable alpha, tech test? What's going on? What's going on? It's like building games is slow. It's not fast. Yeah, the day before was a scam. Like, call things that are scams. Don't call something that's not a scam a scam. Do you know what I'm saying? You should reserve the word scam for real scams, not like a developer that might be taking too long to get things out in time. Look at the live Discord chat. That's a good company. Oh, yeah. Shift Up gave all their employees like a cash bonus and PS5 Pros. Yeah. You love to see it. Let's be honest, this guy says about GTA 6, Cyberpunk had the same hype and was horrible until they fix everything later, and that's what will happen to GTA. Press X to doubt. They don't deliver like that. I don't think so. And a 5-bomb comes in from Sneaky Wolf. He says, come on, boys, that member count's getting a little too quiet today. 42. We're 8 members away from 50. I owe you guys 5. Welcome on in. Remember that abandoned game? That was a scam. What was a scam about it, though? Didn't they just announce it? Did they let anybody crowdfund it? I thought that was just like an announced game that disappeared. Announced games disappear all of time. They announced game that happens all the time. That's not a scam. It's only a scam if they were actively taking money from people and then didn't make good on it. Have they put Realm of Ink back in Steam yet? Yeah, Realm of Ink is still... You guys remember that Hades clone I showed you that was actually quite good? Realm of Ink disappeared from Steam. Yeah, it's still not there. Yeah. It got delisted and no one knows why. 2 days ago is when the story hit. Yeah, they're unaware of the reason. They've still not been given a reason why. Let me check them on Twitter here. We want to inform you that we've been removed from the Steam store. Unfortunately, we are currently unaware of the specific reason. Continued. We understand this may... They've not tweeted for 3 days. Yeah, they haven't tweeted an update for 3 days. That was on January the 3rd. They're trying to act like it was a Silent Hill game. Dakota Green with a $5 super chat tip says, everyone's upset about not getting a trailer 2, for GTA 6 trailer 2, for over a year, when I've been waiting since 2021 for a new Wolverine trailer from Insomniac. Listen. I am of the opinion, and you can have a different opinion than this, but I'm of the opinion that I totally prefer a game to do that. Do your teaser, let me know you're making the game, and then shut the frick up and get to work. I don't need to see anything, and personally, until you're ready to show me gameplay, I don't need to see anything. So when it comes to GTA 6 and the GTA 6 trailer 2, don't show up until you got gameplay. And to be quite honest with you, when you finally do show up with gameplay, I would really like a release date. I would. I would like a release date. I think that's a fair request at that point. Or at least a release window. Listen. This is just my preference. I like shorter marketing windows. I don't like these long, stretched out marketing windows where they just trickle out a trailer and then a trailer and then a trailer and then a trailer. It's like, dude, stop. D-Tom with 40 months and a VIP. Good afternoon, everyone. The day before was an actual scam. Can't really compare Ashes of Creation or Star Citizen to that catastrophe. And anytime you guys are at a member plus or VIP, it counts toward the goal. So be sure to upgrade your memberships if you haven't already. We are trying to hit a big milestone on the channel. It would be a huge achievement to get to 600 people at Member Plus and above, and we are at 553. We always stall out in the 550s, and we can't get up to 600. So if you like the content, get involved, get committed, pick up your own membership if you can. Call of Duty player count in the U.S. fell to number 2 on PS5 during the Christmas week behind Fortnite. It remained number 1 on Xbox and fell to number 7 on Steam. So we've got the week of Christmas. I got hit with an HDC. Where the frick did I go that triggered HDCP? I'm getting so dadgum tired of that. I'm not going to... Where am I going that's triggering that? Oh, I wonder if it was before. I think we were checking one of the sites like Netflix or Disney or something for a video or a movie. That might have happened over the weekend. No, because I showed you guys trailers this morning. Where did I even go? I've only been on Twitter. I think there's some kind of ad inlays. I think there are ad inlays on sites now that are triggering it. When's it going to release on PC? GTA 6? What's been the pattern with Rockstar? It's not fast, is it? Lono broke his channel. I broke my own channel. I'm boycotting the Squid Game event. I'll return when COD when it's over. Yeah, I mean, I think the player numbers in COD are probably not in jeopardy, like, at all. But I definitely think they're going to have to think through the longevity of a game where you just can't get anti-cheat to work. I think that's always going to be an issue. Always. It's the reality of anti-cheat and cheating in games. It's just... What's this game with Ashes of Creation? I don't know. It seems that people are just maybe annoyed or getting impatient and just running to claim scam. I'm not quite sure what triggered all of it, but that's kind of the gist that I got, is that people are annoyed at the maybe lack of updates or slowness or something. I can't do Q&A until I reset this cap card. Give me 2 seconds. Like, I can't even pull up questions. Let's see. Properties, deactivate, activate. There we go. All right. Here's a question from Citizen JV. If you get fatigued with open world games, are you concerned with Assassin's Creed Shadows open world? This is an excellent question. So we were talking about GTA 6 and some of the challenges I think it'll face with respect to being an open world game, and having live service once the online comes out. And open world is not nearly as stigmatized as live service, but I do believe some people are kind of getting stigmatized or fatigued with respect to open world games. Now, when it comes to Assassin's Creed Shadows, my hope would be that the co-op is either right at launch or soon after, because I think that's what would keep me in that game, is playing it with my wife. Especially if we can just like lower the difficulty and have like a casual fun time. We could probably make some hilarious content with you guys on a Friday night as well with that game. Like, it could be really, really fun. I think we could have a lot of fun with that game personally. That would likely then maybe help because it would feel fresh. It would be like playing through. I think Horizon Forbidden West would be such a fun game co-op. It would be so fun to be sneaking and taking down the big fights and stuff with two people. Now, I don't know what double aggro would do in a game like that. Returnal was a lot of fun co-op, but the problem with Returnal is you can't get a checkpoint for the co-op person. Only the main person, which means we would have to run through the entire game of Returnal in one sitting, which that's not going to happen. So there still is the chance, though, that I end up feeling fatigued in Assassin's Creed Shadows. I think you can feel that in any game. Like, you can be like, yeah, enough is enough. I'm good. I don't want to do this anymore. Near the end of Rise of the Ronin, I was like, bro, if they make me go to one more section and one more map and one more area, oh, man, that'll be one too many. I'll be done. You know, I definitely got to that point with Rise of the Ronin where it was like, you know, it definitely felt like, okay, we've done this enough times now. It's time for the plane to land, you know. Rockstar typically releases their games on console before PC with a delay of a few years. So what was it here? Console versions were released 2018. PC was 2019 for Red Dead 2. Grand Theft Auto 5. Console versions were 2013, 2014. PC version was 2015. So it looks like roughly a year later. Sounds to me like you would end up then with, at the earliest, late 2026 for GTA 6 to land on PC. I don't know that I'll play AC Shadows. I'm getting burned out on the series. I never even beat Valhalla. I really liked Origins. I wish I would have had more time for Odyssey and Valhalla. So Shadows, I think, will pull me in with the prospect of the co-op, the two different characters. I really like the gameplay they've shown. I do. And they're all unlisted videos, by the way. That is kind of bizarre. Guys, really quickly, if you're enjoying the show, take a brief second. Try to help us get 400 likes. Make sure it saves your like count. If you want to talk in my chat, you just have to subscribe. If you want to support the channel directly, that's what the join button is for. And make sure you pick Member Plus. That's the $6 membership. The $5 membership is sort of reserved for our gifted tier. And you guys can gift to other members, help us hit milestones, help me gift, and you can also unlock Friday night streams with Madam. You can extend this stream sometimes, so make sure you celebrate those renewals. They count as well as gifteds. Xbox Prime will be a USB stick. You heard it here first. It's an interesting name, isn't it? Xbox Prime. I don't know. I just immediately think of Amazon Prime. I know that's probably got zero relation. I think of Amazon Prime. I think of Optimus Prime. I don't know. I'll be very interested to see what it is, especially with the timing. Especially with the timing of 2026. People say Ashes of Creation is a scam, which is not. Pirate Software's playing it. Oh, Thor's playing it. You're 200 hours in Valhalla and you're not done. Man. Like, I could have played Valhalla and gone the distance with it, especially if it was co-op. I 100% know I could. It's so hard for me to go into a game like that and for it to it just takes so long to get anything done. Or, you know, to finish it especially. You know? And a 20 bomb. from MASH. He says, no, sir. The member count will not slow down and gets us all the way to 63. I owe you guys 5 members. Thank you so much, MASH, for getting us past that 50 milestone. Well on our way to the pace we need. 500 a week is 100 a day, and that unlocks Friday night. It unlocks community games. We will be doing Helldivers PvP this Friday. We've got fun games that we've made up with hide and go seek and other things. What's good, Ice Queen Gaming? And you can be a part of that. You just need to be a member. There's Game Pass on Fire Stick, which is Amazon, right? I don't think they would partner with Amazon for their hardware. That would be weird and call it the Xbox Prime. I don't know. It's an interesting name choice because what it would signal to me is they did the Project Scorpio, Project Scarlet, and going with a named console, that's just an interesting shift from Xbox One X, Xbox Series X, to switch to Xbox Prime. MASH carrying us, thank you. He certainly does. He certainly does. It's why I've been really transparent about needing people to support the channel directly, because gifting is fantastic, but it's not something that we have any right to expect to continue. The generosity of MASH and others like Rissick and Behemoth and other big member bombs, that is not something that we can expect to continue. That's something that I think is very gracious that they do. One of my hopes for GTA 6 is that we get a more refined and better feeling first-person mode that got added to GTA 5. I don't know if I would necessarily worry about that as much. I expect a game like that to be third-person because of the way you're stealing cars and stuff. Sal with the 5 bomb. Thank you so much, Sal. And he bumps the member line to 68. Thank you so much, Sal, for adding to the daily and weekly member goal. Sounds like they want to burden Amazon Prime subscriber. Oh, bundle maybe with bundled Xbox Cloud Gaming. I want to opt out already. I don't know. I'm personally stepping away from Xbox and going to PlayStation and PC. Xbox has not done anything to keep buying the new console. I don't know if you guys saw it, that guy that he actually got a message from Phil Spencer on his Xbox and he didn't even realize it. Somebody is Carl Jones, the chief strategy officer at the company behind Star Citizen, is no longer the chief strategy officer. He's no longer there. He's departed. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. He made a video about how he was wrong about the Xbox, right? As a PlayStation fan. And so I watched this video. I was like, okay, I want to see what it is that made him feel this way. A $5 super chat tip from PW H-Town. Astro is the most decorated platformer ever after getting 104 Game of the Year awards. To think people actually thought this game wasn't deserving of praise. Yeah, they can keep huffing on copium. Astrobot's a monster. I love how angry he makes them. It honestly makes the game... It honestly makes the game somewhat better and sweeter, knowing how it frustrated all of these people that don't even really game. I actually like that. It's like, I loved it, my kids loved it, and there's a little extra dose of enjoyment knowing how much it makes these people mauled. It really does. Anyway, the thing that was interesting about why he felt like he was wrong about Xbox, a lot of it seemed to centered around Game Pass and how like he was going in and just like adding all these games. Like it was really exciting, right? The reason I think he could have that experience is because he wasn't on Xbox. Like if you've been on Xbox like I have since the 360 era, this generation was incredibly disappointing. Jumping in 4 years into the gen, picking up Game Pass and being able to get games like Indiana Jones, as well as this insane backlog of other games, you can just keep grabbing them, like Fable and others, like he was talking. I was like, well, of course you feel like the value's really high. You've not been here like the rest of us have. You know what I mean? It was an interesting study in how subjective value is, because he came into Xbox midway through the gen and gets everything all at once. I've been here since the Series X hit, and I'm full of nothing but disappointment with what they've done. I'm like, none of this is that great. And then he was like singing the praises of Quick Resume. I'm like, PlayStation has that. All you have to do is put the thing in rest mode. I've done it numerous times recently with Plague Tale Requiem. I know it's not Quick Resume, but if you put the thing in rest mode, I turn on my PlayStation and I'm right back in Plague Tale. Do you want to know what Quick Resume commonly does? It commonly doesn't work and causes glitches. It did it to my son just over the weekend with Fortnite. He couldn't do anything. It quick resumed Fortnite, and he couldn't change his character. Nothing was working. The menus weren't working. The only thing I could do is I had to reboot the game. I commonly would try to use quick resume on games, and it would cause them not to work right. I'd have to reboot the game. It's like, quick resume's not even that great of a feature. It doesn't work all that often. And you can get essentially the same feature on PlayStation as long as you use rest mode. I'm immediately back in the game within seconds. I boot up the game, log in, I click my little icon, and then I click on Plague Tale Requiem, and I'm right back in the game. There was no waiting, no nothing. So I thought it was an interesting study in how value is subjective, about like, well, he's late to Xbox, and he's sort of like over the moon about like how many games there are. He was like, oh, it runs so quiet, it runs so well. The Series X is actually a nice machine, but if quick resumes worked great for you, never had an issue, I have issues with it all of the time. Quick resume never works, says Biggie. I always have to restart the game. Yeah, like I'll be in the game and like stuff just doesn't work right. Like my son was in Lego Fortnite. He could not get his navigation of the menu to let him change his character. I rebooted the game and it let him change his character around in the locker of Fortnite. I was like, I told my kids, I was like, this is why I don't like Xbox. Every time I boot up the Xbox, I have a problem. I booted up the Xbox once. It had to do an update to the store, and it wouldn't finish. It just sat there. And when it finally finished, I opened up the store, and the store froze. I had to force quit the store. I feel like every time I boot up the Xbox, there's an issue with just basic things like going to the Game Pass front or going to the storefront or using quick resume. It's kind of useless with how fast most stuff loads nowadays. It's especially useless on a game like Fortnite or Fall Guys because it's probably going to have to download updates anyway. Yeah, it's probably better for offline games. That's probably true. But I've had to give me issues countless of times. It happened to my daughter with Unravel. She was playing Unravel and she booted the game back up, and she couldn't get the one control to work right. The one button was like not working right. And I was like, try to close the game and reopen it, and she did, and it fixed it. I'm like, quick resume on Fall Guys doesn't let me connect online. Well, yeah, online games are obviously different, but like all my son was trying to do was like change his little Lego character outfit in the locker, and it wouldn't work right. I don't know, man. Maybe my Series X is mad at me because it feels neglected, but I feel like every time I turn it on, anytime I try to do anything with it, there's an issue. And it's like, But I appreciated his video because he was like, hey, there's actually good stuff over here. But again, I think if he would have bought the Series X in 2020 and gone on the same journey that the rest of us have been on, I don't think he would have come to the conclusion that he came to. I think he would have come to a different conclusion. It would have been like, yeah, I agree with the rest of you about the fact that we aren't getting games or not getting them at quality. Like, yeah, you can play Starfield now and it's been updated to 60 FPS. You can play Forza Motorsport now and it's been updated and a lot of its problems have been fixed. Does that make sense? I think that's an interesting way to look at it. Is like, well, if you suddenly jump in and suddenly have Game Pass and you start downloading all those games, it has a lot more value than for someone like me that's like, I barely ever turn the dadgum thing on. There's no reason to. I've had to play some of their major releases on my PC anyways. Starfield and Hellblade 2 most notably. I have over 1,000 hours every single year on the Series X. I use Quick Resume all the time. I'd say 5 to 10% of the time it doesn't work perfectly, and a few games it doesn't work at all. I must just be unlucky then, MASH. I just keep picking the games that have the issues. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, even the store was jacking up on me the one day. I was like, I'm just trying to open the store to search for a game for my kiddo to play, and it wouldn't open. And it was because it was downloading an update. And I'm like, I can't use the store while you're updating. So when the update finally finished, it opened, and then it locked up on me. And I was like, so I literally had to reboot the Xbox to use the store. I was like, maybe there's something wrong with it. I don't know. Maybe there's something wrong with it. But yeah, I have just been more and more annoyed by it. Every time I try to use it, it makes me, I just want to get rid of it. The only reason I have it is for situations like that where we want to play something like Fall Guys together or Lego Fortnite together. It's how we originally set up our 3-player experience. So there's all this stuff on that Xbox that I don't want to lose. Once a box becomes your secondary, I think our patience for it becomes less. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. PS5 is the first decent store they have. Oh, I don't like the interface on PlayStation that much either, but I've never had issues with it like freezing, glitching, or not letting me use the store, or, you know, if I quick resume something, it not working. Okay, so Carl Jones, it's understood that at least 2 more upper management people who are in CIG's website About section have had their roles impacted in the recent shakeup, and their leaving announcements will be made later this month. So, Cloud Imperium Games, this is the studio behind, I believe this is the studio behind Star Citizen, as well as Squadron 42. Looks like they have undergone upper management team to hit. They've shaken it up because of not hitting deadlines. Speaking to sources who wish to stay anonymous as they cannot publicly talk about the company's plans, several top-level executives have been laid off, and other top people at the company have been shifted to different roles. That doesn't bode well for Star Citizen and people that were worried about that game ever actually shipping, as well as Squadron 42. That does not bode well at all. What's the other top story? Yeah. I want to put the next gen Xbox in here for later. Throwing a fit? Maybe they targeted your account. Yeah. Xbox is just sensitive, throwing a fit because you're always talking bad about it. No, he's saying the Xbox is throwing a fit, Eugene. He's not saying I'm throwing a fit. LG is now an Xbox. Director of Xbox Integrated Marketing, leading brand platform. Oh boy. This is an Xbox. Continues now with announcements from LG about the TVs. We'll likely see even more announcements coming out of CES. Maybe it bodes great feature creep. Star Citizen's biggest problem. Maybe the new guys will get it across the finish line. I would say it's a pretty big setback. It's a pretty big setback to lose people like that. You know? I could buy an electric truck and finance it to power my house. Yeah, good idea, Wolf Saints. That sounds like a really smart idea that could not possibly go poorly. It'll be, in the words of Critical Drinker, no, it'll be fine. Yeah. We are all on Xbox. How's that going to work? You plug the television into the internet, and then you Bluetooth a controller to the television, and you play through xCloud. Xbox Prime will need to compete with the portable PlayStation that's rumored to be making, given a 3-year hardware comment. They said, what was it? Co-CEO said they can spin stuff like that up relatively quickly. So I don't know. Did this get brought up? Literally just read it. You must have been like out of the room or something fuzzy. 30 seconds ago. Playing with the LG remote's going to be epic. xCloud horrible, barely works. I've had people say they have a good experience with it. Mainly seems to be an issue of... do you know what LG stands for? Yeah, life's good. I don't know if the Xbox Prime is going to be targeting competing with anything. I think it's going to be one more step in their evolution of... I really do think they're just going to have all these different ways to interact with Xbox. Whether it's a handheld, an LG TV, or whatever this thing they're creating, I don't think they have a console-centric strategy anymore, not even remotely. So whatever this is that they're creating, the Xbox Prime, I don't think it will look like a traditional console. I really don't think so. All signs point to them not having any desire to do that anymore. They don't have any desire to be in a traditional console setup. Unless Xbox comes to Roku, they will never land on every TV, though xCloud works great in my Tesla. It's funny how Xbox is talking about handhelds and cloud gaming, and the PlayStation Portal is already out. Yeah, but the PlayStation Portal is primarily a remote play device that they have added cloud to. So it's, I don't necessarily think that's a fair comparison. I mean, I get what you're saying, but it's a very, very, very different device. LG TVs are goated. The whole Lucky Gold Star. I thought LG stood for, what's it stand for? I thought it stood for Life's Good. LG is a South Korean multinational conglomerate that stands for Life's Good. Now this here is saying LG stands for Lucky Gold Star. You may also know LG as Life's Good, which became the company's slogan. So we're both correct. That's really, really interesting. When it was founded, it was Lucky Gold Star. It was pronounced by Lucky, which is a chemical industrial group, and their name was pronounced Lucky. Yeah, so it looks like that was the original meaning, and then they gave it like a new meaning when they made the company slogan "Life's Good." Ooh. Oh. That's why they're dropping the new controller, so it can be used with everything. I don't know if the controller is meant to be... It's meant to be a part of the strategy. I don't think it's meant to be like coupled with the TV. It certainly goes hand in hand with the TV, but I feel like they're kind of separate. You can do one or the other or both for sure, but yeah, I don't know. I think that the controller is also meant to be like them saying, "Hey, we're gonna invest in advancements in controllers as well." I don't necessarily know if they're directly connected. I mean, Satya wanted a controller that basically could do everything. I believe the controller, from what we heard, the rumors are, it will be able to just interact with the cloud on its own. So you literally wouldn't even need one of these LG TVs. You would just need the controller. Xbox is literally throwing crap at a wall. I don't know if it's they're throwing crap at a wall or it's this big, broad, multi-pronged approach. It feels more like when Satya talked about they're kind of having this multi-pronged approach and how they kind of want to be everywhere. I don't know if they're just throwing crap at the wall. I think they're saying strategy of a software company applies here. You want to be in as many places as possible to maximize your potential returns. I think it's not gonna work because of the money spent, the investment spent in this strategy. I don't think they're going to see big enough returns. I think Microsoft is going to say, our gaming initiatives are better spent. Our dollars are better spent. Shareholders are going to conclude this, I think, very easily. Anybody who's getting a look at the books and a look at returns is going to say, we are far better off investing in publishing. Because they're going to look at money from Minecraft, they're going to look at money from Call of Duty, and they're going to look at money from Doom the Dark Ages and everything else, and they're going to say, this is a far better return of investment. They're going to look at the marketing and the push for, this is an Xbox. They're going to look at partnerships with LG and Amazon and all this else, which costs money, and then they're going to look at the ROI on it, and they're going to say, this isn't worth it. Microsoft has no problem killing something if it's not giving them good return. They're sort of known for this. Companies of this size are known for this. They are, because they can afford to. They can afford to, like, well, let's try this. And it doesn't work. Kill it. They did it with the Windows Phone. They did it with Zune. They did it with Mixer. They're just like, yeah, if it's not working, if we don't feel like we're getting enough return, then kill it. And then you invest the money in the winning horse, or you invest the money in a new horse. Like, you don't just keep backing something if it's not generating enough revenue when you're that size. Amazon does it. Google does it. Like we saw with Google Stadia. They'll do something, and if it's not giving them the return that they want to see, then they'll just kill it. So I think they're going to come out on the other end of this, and they're going to say, it's so much better and more efficient for us to invest our money in publishing. Publish mobile, because mobile makes a killing, and then publish games. Now you may see a mobile storefront that won't go away because of they won't get the Apple scrape anymore. If they could launch a fully functional mobile store and you got to go through them for Candy Crush, they would frickin' love that, because then they're no longer giving a 30% scrape to Apple. They get 100% of every dime spent inside of Candy Crush or any of the other titles that are underneath the ownership of King Mobile that they now have. So I think the mobile storefront isn't the same, though, as partnering with LG or Samsung or Amazon or Lenovo and all these other efforts that they've got cooking where they want to be everywhere. Game Pass saw the biggest jump when Black Ops 6 hit. Trying to force feed people the subservice isn't going to work. Well, and I also think they're going to analyze that decision as well. I think they're going to analyze that decision. If the biggest game of 2024 didn't move the needle on hardware, didn't move the needle on like spreading their consumer base, they just got people to sign up for Game Pass, like we knew that was going to happen, then I think they'll assess what they feel like they should do going forward, which could potentially be just focus on publishing. There's no reason to keep focused on Game Pass. Like I think they're going to just keep raising the price of Ultimate until they get to the point where that's not even their central focus. Like once your subservice plateaus, you just raise the price. It might take a little bit longer on PC because they see a lot of room for growth on PC, which is why PC Game Pass is $11.99. So, all right, I'm gonna give you guys. It's 1 o'clock. So we've gone for about 3 hours. I'll give you guys 30 minutes. If you want to extend, we got to hit 100 members on the day, and I'll let you extend the stream. We cannot extend as much as we've been, though, because I do eventually need to end up in writer's room. I am going to need time to work on uploads. We have a pretty heavy content plan for 2025, but I will give you the ability to do that. I'm also going to clear out the question queue. That is something that you guys can submit questions to. And before we venture into the next 30 minutes, you guys can submit questions about all of the... This guy says, steady on. They made the Series S for people who couldn't afford a $700 plus price tag yet. Maybe it's not great for the game devs, but at least they tried. Well, that's not why they made the Series S. They didn't make the Series S out of the goodness of their heart. They made the Series S because they thought they could win a portion of the gaming public. So, yeah. Destiny 2, Revenant Act 3. I don't know what that is. So I've been going for 3 hours. I'm going to take a quick break. You guys can submit questions if you're a member. If you haven't hit the like button yet, we only need 11 more likes for 400 likes. I'll be right back. I'll answer your questions. General gaming questions. There's lots of stuff going on in the gaming news. There's lots coming this year. You can use that question command in chat. I'll be right back. Oh, okay. All right. Got 2 questions submitted. Thank you, guys. Let's take a peek here. Citizen JV says, what's your biggest fear of Assassin's Creed Shadows other than the open world aesthetic? Well, my biggest fear is that it becomes a Star Wars Outlaws situation and they go mile wide and the value isn't there. That would be my biggest concern. Because, like, people are like, oh, but Star Wars Outlaws gets so much better. It gets so much better in the late game or whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay, but I don't want to play through hours of what I felt like was pretty, mediocre everything to get to where the good stuff is. And I guess that would be probably my biggest concern about Assassin's Creed. Any word on Bloodborne 3 yet? No. Yeah, my biggest fear with Assassin's Creed Shadows is that's what ends up happening, is they just go so broad that you end up with low quality work or inconsistent quality. Like maybe the combat's really good, but the stealth sucks. Or maybe the stealth's really good, but the combat sucks. Maybe the open world just gets super repetitive. Maybe the story's not that great. Maybe the writing's not that great. It's like projects of that size, I think it's difficult to nail the quality. I do. I think it's extremely difficult to nail the quality for projects of that size. So there's likely, I would say, probably similar issues with GTA 6 potentially. A guy told me, he says, games are running on systems that are out-spec'd by the Series S. And somebody says, what games are running that are out on systems that are out-spec'd by the S? And J-Dog says, I'm scratching my head on this one too. He says, any game running in a mobile GPU right now is working with less compute power than the S. Again, the issue is RAM. Even the Steam Deck has 16 gig of RAM. And again, the engine can run on systems with less RAM. You're in denial. Yeah, he is in denial. Where are the games that are running on these weak mobile devices that have less RAM? I don't get it. And a 10 bomb from MASH says, I'll do it myself if we have to extend the stream. He puts us 22 members away from the first 100 of the week, and that would extend the stream. Thank you so much, MASH. You the best. How the turntables, MASH gifting, and Javier Cotto gets one of them. Thank you for taking care of our boy Javier, as well as Duke Delicious and others. Thank you very much, MASH. Appreciate you, brother. And don't forget, guys, we have the Super Chat goal as well. I know some of you prefer Super Chats over gifting, but you can still add to the member count with Super Chats through me whenever that goal gets hit. You get confetto, you get some confetti, and then probably talking about Wuthering Waves. Oh, like mobile gacha trash that's made by developers who are accustomed to getting their games to run on mobile. Yeah, that's not the same as any of the mainstay, big game developers out there. I know Black Myth Wukong's devs are like newer to the scene, but that's not even remotely the same. If y'all need a laugh, what is this? Why is it doing this? And Joker Quinn bumps the line by 1 and gets us to 79. The spirit of Stone Spire is alive and well. None of you are prepared for what this house is like. Okay? It's just one big open room? That's frickin' weird. Why'd they build it like that? I burst out maniacally laughing when I saw it, and it ain't subtle. This feels like the home that a career criminal bachelor would design for himself if he had unlimited money. We have plenty of cabinet space, but we will need a ladder to use it. The 7 TVs, the off-center gigantic chandelier. The person who designed this has got to be in prison, or they went bankrupt and were buried alive in wet cement. Oh man, unless they've sound dampened it, this would be a disaster. If it's not been properly sound dampened, the echo would be ridiculous. All that tile, that high ceiling. Oh, good golly. There's no rugs, right? There's nothing to dampen the sound in there. It would be like living in a gymnasium. It would always be so loud. It would be so loud. Yo, what's good, Purple Haze? It's a turn of phrase. I'm sorry, it's a turn of phrase. If they want to be on the phone or the Mac, they have to follow the Apple's rules. Oh, it's a turn of phrase. What did you say, Corey? Correct. Epic is still technically fighting the good fight because both Epic and Microsoft want to be allowed to create a separate storefront on other companies' devices, and Apple ain't having it. Oh, I understand what you're saying. It's just a turn of phrase, fighting the good fight. I got another question here. You guys that have members can submit these questions and direct the conversation. You guys have 18 minutes to extend. We're almost to that 1:30 mark where we'll bail. And we're 21 members away from the first milestone of the week of 100. And PW H-Town says, do you think at launch the lack of a new UI and controller update hurt Xbox sales? Sony had new UI and controllers, etc., and the Xbox kind of was an evolution instead of a revolution. I firmly believe that nobody's buying or not buying a console in relation to the UI or the controller. I believe that could be a deterrent if people think the controller looks or feels bad, like if they're in the store or something and they like put their hands on it and they're like, yeah, I don't like this is uncomfortable or whatever. But I don't think that's what affected Xbox. I think in general the largest contributor to Xbox not doing well had more to do with the It had more to do with the lack of titles, the split hardware. I also think really hurt the marketing punch. It did. Think about it. When they were doing Project Scarlet, if you go back and watch the trailer, it was all about the power. It was all about the device. And that's the single focus. Like, you just get to hit that note. Boom, boom, boom. Series X, Series X, Series. And then the Series S comes in, and then the marketing gets muddled. It's like, wait, I don't understand. What you have? So there's two Xboxes? I think that causes people, I think that takes away some of the potency of your marketing. The PlayStation 5 just had to keep hitting the same note. Power, 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 graphics, graphics, graphics. And then it was games. And Xbox was... Xbox focused, if you remember, they had to focus on backwards compatibility, and they had to focus on FPS boost, and they had to focus on features like quick resume, and what's the other one? Smart delivery. They had to focus on features because they couldn't focus on games because there really weren't any. They didn't have any major launch titles ready to go. So I think they muddled the potency of their marketing by having two boxes. And I don't think any of the contributing factors as to why Xbox struggled had anything to do with the UI or the controller. I don't think so. Barrier says, how do you feel about Hell Is Us and it being open world? I wouldn't say I have open world fatigue. The world and art design just has really interested me. Really looking forward to that one. The thing I'm interested the most, Barrier, about Hell Is Us is how it's like half exploration puzzle solving and half combat, and how they said that with the way that they the way they're going to do exploration is that there's no markers, there's no UI, there's no nothing. It's like your discoveries are your own. I think that'll be interesting to see what that looks like. Purple says, I definitely prefer PlayStation's UI over Xbox. I've grown accustomed to PlayStation's UI, but I always liked Xbox's UI more. Maybe it's just because it's what I'm familiar with. It feels like home to me. I've always liked theirs more. I've always thought PlayStation's was clunky, or it doesn't feel organized well. I don't know. There's something that's not intuitive about the way PlayStation lays things out, and I've just now that I'm accustomed to it, it doesn't bother me. But I still get on an Xbox, and I feel like I can find things faster. It feels snappier, maybe. I don't know. Question, have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight? No, but excellent Batman reference. Broken Lobo. Appreciate you. It will forever bother me. It's terrible. Yeah, I've never been a big fan of PlayStation's UI. I mean, I especially didn't like it in the PS4 era. I couldn't stand the party system in the PS4 era. Their audio codecs for microphones was arguably the worst. Generally very terrible. You would constantly get tons of background noise because they shipped the PS4 with like an earbud, for people to use, and so the microphone's like down here. Well, the way a microphone like that works, it has to be given an audio codec that's essentially like a speakerphone. Well, that's the difference between this. Hey man, how are you? I'm doing great. And you know, your kids are in the background horsing around or whatever, and you kind of hear it. And when your buddy goes, hang on a second, and he puts you on speaker and he's doing this. Yeah. Like, also, why is that how y'all are on the phone? Like, y'all walking down the street like this. Anyway, but that's the difference. This has to pick up my voice from further away, so it picks up the whole dadgum room. Did you answer my question? I just noticed I was an hour behind. I just now answered it, just a second ago, because you said something about scrolling up, so I answered you about Hell Is Us. I find Microsoft's UI to be hella clunky, but I like the customization better overall. Yeah, UI is not a deal breaker for me, though. It isn't. I spend 98% of my time on the console in games, so it's like I'm not playing with the UI, you know. I've always found Microsoft Store to be better if you want to search for things. PlayStation Storefront's hard to search for things. They make it cumbersome and unenjoyable. Microsoft, I can search for a particular game and I can select local multiplayer, you know, co-op and things like those types of filters that I appreciate a whole lot more. And PlayStation doesn't have any of that. I can't stand typing a game title and then being shown some random movie that I can purchase. This happens on Xbox. Yeah, that doesn't really bother me though. The storefront filtering process on Xbox is just so much better. I don't know. How poorly Discord runs on PS5, it lags out and can crash. Yeah, I've not used Discord on PlayStation or Xbox really at all. If I use Discord, I just use the Discord on the PC because I'm sitting here. So they brought two major publishers who made a very large portion of their profit from multi-platform sales. Only a fool thought Microsoft would have had some multi-platform games. The fact that no red line exists is wild, though. I still don't know how to search for games on Game Pass. You go to Game Pass, and then I think you hit Y. Isn't that the search button? All right, you guys have 10 minutes to extend. We're at 79 members on the day. If we get 21 more members, we'll hit 100. I will give 5 members when you do that, and then we'll extend the stream a little bit. We'll just keep talking. The last couple times you guys have done that, we've turned the stream into an AMA where you can ask me anything. We get into more content creator stuff, personal stuff, non-gaming stuff. We can definitely do that today as well if you guys want to extend. If not, totally fine. We'll go to Writer's Room and we'll book the next day. That is something for members. Minecraft 2 will never exist. He can't do it again and none of his other ideas work out. If he wanted to be in the spotlight still, he should have never sold Mojang. Oh, I mean, it won't be Minecraft 2. He said it'll be the spiritual successor. So, yeah. It will be the spiritual successor. So he can't even call it Minecraft 2. I mean, we know this because they own... Microsoft owns property. So. And Purple sets it up, sets the bait for a 20 bomb, and not Mash. Hopefully baiting somebody else to take a turn and not our boy Mash. A question comes in from Banshee. Don't know if you've talked about this already. Have you seen any of the new leaks for the Nintendo Switch 2? Tons of new info has come out the last few days. Yeah, I don't like covering the Switch 2. It just makes people leave. I don't know what it is about Nintendo. If I talk at length about Nintendo Switch, we have mass exodus. And so, if the Switch 2 comes out and proves its worth and is great, we'll cover it more and cover the games more. But for whatever reason... I have never been able to do much with Nintendo. People leave immediately. I don't know if it's because Dia Anubis, you're going to need to resend your question. You got overrode by Dalton. You guys both claim the same spot. But, yeah, with the Nintendo Switch 2, like, I'll throw it in the show opens and stuff, but it almost never becomes a discussion point during the show. It doesn't. If it becomes a discussion point, people leave. Like, I can literally tell. Like, as soon as we start talking Nintendo, Switch 2 Power, what kind of first-party games they might come to the market with, people just absolutely bail. I'm not sure why there's such a strong aversion here to Nintendo. I don't know if it's because we have so many PC and PlayStation fans that are just kind of like, they're kind of over Nintendo at this point. Or maybe they're waiting to see if the Nintendo Switch 2 will be worth getting from a performance perspective. I think the Nintendo Switch for the last 8 years has really just driven a lot of the people that gravitate to this type of content. I think are more on the performance side. Like, they either wanted the Pro or they have a strong PC or a good PC. A lot of people were attracted to this content because they got a Series X and they were like me. They wanted power and they didn't feel like they got it, so they resonate with my viewpoints on things. And I feel like it's been 8 years of the Switch probably just sitting in their living room and not really getting turned on. Once we have official Switch 2 stuff and maybe some stats on gameplay to break down, that will likely then create interest. So right now, I don't spend a ton of time researching Nintendo stuff. Like, I'll throw it in the headlines, I'll throw it in the show open, but it doesn't typically turn into much of a discussion. I did see that one of the rumored games that'll be ported to the Nintendo Switch, is, what was it? It just left my brain. Oh, one of the rumored games that's being ported to Nintendo Switch 2 is Gotham Knights, which not really sure why that one would be first in line for a port, but that's the one that we've heard rumored. BG here on Twitter saying, if true, some mid-gen refresh is pointless, but releasing next-gen console in the middle of the gen is what? I'm just asking because to me it's essentially the same concept when you think about it. Nicola says, speak it, because if I do, I'll end up on YouTube. Yeah, the Xbox Prime is likely not going to be viewed as a mid-gen refresh. It likely won't even be viewed as a traditional console. I just don't think so. All right, you guys got 5 minutes. 5 minutes if you want to scramble and you want to extend the stream. I've got 2 more questions here. Let me make sure I'm not skipping. Here we go. Dalton Burrows says, for me, Elder Scrolls needs to radically update its melee combat to be more akin to something like Chivalry 2. If the next Elder Scrolls doesn't do that, do you think people will trash on its combat or ignore it? I don't know. I really wonder if Elder Scrolls is going to be able to lean heavily into a more Chivalry style or even Kingdom Come style combat, like the first person combat. I don't know. I wonder if they're going to want to go like more mainstream, more approachable, more third person action adventure style than. Do you get what I'm saying? I don't know. I could be wrong. First person perspective in a game like that could be far more popular than I'm anticipating. But I would feel like you would really want both to look and feel great. Third person as well as first person, not in their current engine. Yeah, that's true. I mean, Creation Engine, I just don't know if you're going to get this nice, fluid, third person action adventure feel, you know? And Alapark says, we're going to get there. He gets us halfway there with a 10 bomb all the way to 90. It's like, come on, boys. Let's extend this stream. I've been putting the stream in y'all's hands and saying, listen, we can go to members or you guys can keep it rolling. And he says, let's keep it rolling. Thank you very much, Alapark. If you guys got a gifted membership from Alapark, be sure to say thanks to him. And if you want to consider upgrading, you can help with another thing we're trying to do, and that's Member Plus. That is $6 instead of $5. It gets you out of the gifted pool and into more content. Press R2 or RB to swing your sword is what you're going to get. Wishful thinking that's not happening. Oh, wishful thinking about them changing engines? I hear you. Their third-person camera has always been jank, so I just say first person. I don't know. I don't want to project my preference onto the gaming community, but I really wonder if there isn't a lot of people. I'm not going to say the word majority. Let's just say a lot. I got to feel like there's a lot of people in my camp that are like, I don't want to play a game like that first person. I don't know, dude. I feel, again, it's just my gut. My gut is, if you trot out a trailer for Elder Scrolls 6 and it's first person and it's creation, it's creation engine, I don't know. Wanting them to lean more in third person stuff? I don't know, man. I again wonder if there's a lot of people like me, and if all you're doing is making Elder Scrolls 6 for the Elder Scrolls purists out there that want that first person perspective, I feel like you're going to turn off a whole bunch of people. It's Elder Scrolls. People won't care. Okay, well, this is something that I think we need to stop doing, is we assume that games can't fail. What was the original release date of Skyrim? What was it? What was the original release date? 2011. Homies, it's been 14 years. Oblivion was 2006. Skyrim was 2011. It's been 14 years. Do you really think there's enough like die-hard Elder Scrolls fans that'll be like, I don't care, it's going to be great no matter what, first person ride or die? Like, I don't know. It was 11. Okay. My general feel of the gaming community is that a lot of them are going to look at that and be like, that looks dated. All right, you guys I've not scheduled the writer's room yet. You guys have 2 minutes. You have 2 minutes to get 10 more members. Alapark made it really, really easy. We'll see if you guys can land the plane. I don't care what engine they use. I just want the full scope of the open world that they had in previous games. I want to build. I want a variety of items. I want to customize as much as I can. Skyrim could definitely fail. It's like any franchise that has skipped a generation in media. Could is the key word. I don't have confidence in Bethesda anymore. I don't know why anybody would be like, yo, Bethesda's not going to miss. They swung and missed hard with Fallout 76. It was a different dev team. They swung and missed hard with Starfield. You can parade your Metacritic score around all you want. The user score is embarrassing. It's the lowest score game they've ever made from the user's perspective. Skyrim still hits like 43K player base numbers. It still pulls good numbers. I again would think that that's not indicative of a game that can't fail. That all they've got to do is they don't have to innovate. Just first person perspective, stay in creation engine, it'll all be fine. I just don't agree. I do not agree. All right, it's been 2 minutes. I'm scheduling writer's room. You guys have until I schedule this and hit the button. Oh, purple. Never mind. And there it is. 100 members on pace for the week. I owe you guys 5 more members. Thank you so much, Purple. A little bit of a train in chat coming from me, coming from Purple, the tag team. There you go. 76 was a multiplayer title. Starfield was a new IP. Elder Scrolls is their biggest proven commodity. Look how many times they've repackaged Skyrim. You're saying leaving first person behind is innovating? I'm saying that they would have to make both feel great. Yes, you'd have to innovate and make third person feel great in that engine. That would take innovation. They would need the first person to feel good too. It's gotta be innovated on. It's gotta be more fluid. You've got to add either new mechanics or systems to make it feel, I don't know, better than it currently does. I'm telling you right now, you trot out an Elder Scrolls 6 that basically is just more Elder Scrolls, and you got first person and you're in creation. Dude, I don't know. I'm telling you right now what people would say. They would say, this feels like it's stuck in time. I'm not going to buy another creation engine game. I'm good. Yeah, man, I don't know. I'm right now at the point where I don't have any confidence in them or their engine at all. Why would you? I can't imagine looking at Starfield and being like, yeah, that's the caliber of game that if Elder Scrolls comes out at that caliber in the next 4 to 5 years, it'll be good. Like, just be honest. Like, okay, let's say you enjoyed Starfield. Do you honestly think that in 2028 or 2029, if they come out with Elder Scrolls 6 and it's at the caliber of Starfield, you think that it'll be good, it'll do well, and it'll get good reception? Starfield felt stuck in time when it released too. No, not to me. When I played Skyrim on Xbox 360, I was like, I've never played anything like this in my life. Have you heard anything about GTA 6 yet? There was a post on LinkedIn that seemed to reinforce the 2025 release date, saying that it's going to be one of the biggest years for Rockstar. Come work for us. And the guy also posted the image that showed the 2025 release date. So it seems like, as far as the employees are concerned, there's not been any indications of a delay internally. So what? Donor report? What did I donate to? I didn't donate to your thing. I don't know who you are. If the next Elder Scrolls has the same combat that Bethesda games have had since Skyrim, I'll be extremely disappointed. Are you already shipping coffee to Europe? No, I don't ship outside of America. It's too expensive. You end up paying more for the postage and give more money to USPS than you even spend on the coffee. It's ridiculous. It's because you've never played an Elder Scrolls title before. Did you play Oblivion or Morrowind? What about Daggerfall? No, I think I played like a Neverwinter Nights, and then I played Skyrim, and Skyrim blew my dadgum mind. I was like, this is unbelievable. I'll never forget climbing the mountain and going in and talking to the old dudes that teach you Fusro Da. I was like, what the frick? This is incredible. I remember the first time I was in a cave and a Draugr came out. I'm telling you, it was unbelievable. I was like, this is an incredible experience. Fair enough. I heard about the logo leak from the staff party. Was definitely interesting. I'm not sure I've heard about a logo leak from a staff party. What was that, Nigel? Sunk cost fallacy, Lono. You don't like people outside of America? Stop it. Whether you like it or not, they tried new things with their engine and their systems. In what? Oh, Fallout 76. Starfield has ship combat, builder and space dude, procedural planet systems. They could go back to one map, and I think they could easily build an open world game. Starfield is segmented open worlds. Elder Scrolls, that's in their corner, Deuterino, with respect to the open world experience. I will grant you that point. Yes. Yes. That them going back to one open world could net them a whole lot of value, but I don't know. I don't have any confidence in them. I don't. I think they have been on a visible and measurable decline. Fallout 4 in many people's mind was a decline and a step down. Fallout 76 and then Starfield. I've not seen an improvement and an evolution and a ratcheting up. All I see at that company when I look at their games and I look at what they bring to the market, I just see stagnation. That's all I see in Starfield. That's all I see in Shattered Space. Yet Fallout 4 won awards. Yes, but if you look at user score and review scores, it's a decline, Deuterino. You're not interacting with what I said. I didn't say Fallout 4 was terrible. In many people's minds, it was a decline. You can see it in the scores. It was glitchy. It was buggy. People thought that the engine was starting to show its age. And it wasn't that it was a bad game. I have 111 or 114 hours in Fallout 4. You know what I'm saying? But for many people, it felt like a step down. It felt like a decline. And then Fallout 76 happened. And then Starfield happened. And then Shattered Space happened. I'm simply showing you there's enough evidence, I think, for me to say I have zero confidence in them bringing something to market that'll be innovative and at quality, because they haven't done it in a long time. I really liked Fallout 4. I did. I had a great time with it. But that was a long time ago. That was 10 years ago. It's a decade since then. If you bring out another game essentially at that quality, which is what I felt Starfield was just Fallout 5. They just took Fallout into space. I was just like, nothing. You didn't innovate on anything. And you could say, oh, but they did ship combat. That didn't feel like innovative. It felt very, very rudimentary and basic. And shipbuilding, that was their building mechanics applied to a ship. Cool. It was a cool concept. But everything else about the game just felt like, what in the world? Like the game just oozes with boredom. And the problem that you're always going to run into is twofold. When you have games that come out that feel transformative, like a Skyrim, you're going to be held to a standard of being transformative. I'm not saying that that's fair, but that's what people are going to expect. In addition to your own history making people expect you to be transformative, GTA 6 is going to face this too, by the way. This isn't unique to Bethesda. But not only are you going to be held to the standard of your own history of being transformative, you're also going to be held to the standard of games in the market right now. And Phantom Liberty was just so much better than anything that was in Starfield. And that was a DLC. That was a 26-hour DLC. That was significantly better. If you spec into ship combat, it feels incredible. Mods are already overhauling the experience of Starfield. I mean, that feels like a meme. Mods are already overhauling the experience. I bought a game from Bethesda. I expect quality from them, not the modding community. If you like Starfield, I want you to be honest about the fact that the quality that game shipped in, the UI, the inventory systems, the lack of quality of life, the performance issues, whatever you want to point at that didn't feel like it was at a high caliber of quality, I want you to imagine Elder Scrolls coming out at that level of quality. No, seriously, do it. In 2028, 2029, there are going to be tons of games that come out between then and Elder Scrolls 6. In between now and when Elder Scrolls 6 comes out, do you honestly think if it comes out at the quality of Starfield, that'd be a disaster? That'd be a disaster. I think that's why people are like, they've got to get out of this engine. I don't think the engine gives them enough elasticity or headroom to grow and innovate. It's become an albatross. It's like, well, yeah, you have the institutional knowledge and the experience, and it's extremely, you can mod it and do amazing things with the modding community. But it's like that's not a reason, I don't think, to stay in. I think it's going to drag anything they do down. I'll make this argument as well. Creation's not a good engine for an FPS game with gunplay. My objection to Fallout 4 is it felt like a game from 2011. Starfield looked to be the same, so it was an auto skip. If Elder Scrolls 6 is the same as Starfield, good night. Stop the Bethesda hype train. I would like to exit here. Okay, Hilly, I got your DM. I like to tinker. I like it. Those who don't. That's fine. What happened to your Destiny community? What do you mean? Who cares about that? I haven't played Destiny in 4 years. Also, how many games do PlayStation have coming this year? Currently, they consider Yote, and according to Herman Hulst, Death Stranding 2, he considers to be one of their titles they're bringing to market. I'm assuming it's because of how they partner with Kojima. So 2. I at this point, I continue to think that the first party cadence of PlayStation is going to be 2 games a year. And if they consider like second party relationships, like Death Stranding 2, if they're counting that as one, right? Just get out of here. Literally coming in and bringing up Destiny and then trying to goad about PlayStation, how many games, and you spam one. Just go away. Jiminy Christmas. What are you, 2 years old? Maybe this is a sign of hope. What do we have here? What could Starfield's rumored code-altering update be? Starfield's rumored update could overhaul space gameplay, making it more dynamic and less predictable. The update may rework Starfield's economy to provide players with more depth and opportunities for financial progression. Bethesda's code-altering update could fundamentally change loading screens, AI behavior, and overall immersive experience. Well, that could certainly be prep to make it a compelling game if it comes to PlayStation. In its current state, bringing it to PlayStation would be, I don't know. Starfield is rumored to be receiving a code-altering update this year that no one expected. While these details are far from official and only exist due to rumors, it's still worth speculating on what code-altering update could bring to Starfield. Well, is this person reliable? This is coming straight up from the Gossip Alley, but there have been talks about Starfield getting an update next year that no one expected, something code-altering. That's it? We have a tweet from... Is this somebody who's... Anybody? Or they have insider information? I mean, they're saying it's straight up from Gossip Alley. I wouldn't put a whole lot of stock into that. I don't know. Next year was the article from 2024. No, they published it 3 days ago. Well, the person said the code altering, they posted it on December the 27th. So the person that said next year said it in 2024. The article was just written this year. I don't know. I mean, if you were going to get that game to get a 2.0 moment, that's quite literally what it would require. Check my last. Hang on a second. Bethesda can't even mod their own games, Lono. Remember that like a week after Starfield launch, modders already had fixes for major bugs and issues. The devs don't even seem to know their engine anymore. If Elden Ring Night Rain doesn't win Game of the Year, it's just more proof it's rigged. Shadow of the Erdtree got snubbed last year. I feel like you're baiting. And if you're not baiting, that take is one of the worst takes I think I've ever seen in the history of bad takes. A DLC didn't get snubbed. It wasn't a game. We got a question from Deity Anubis. What's your favorite casserole? You need to try Doritos casserole. My wife doesn't really do casseroles. She does a lot of different types of food. She's really great at like baking desserts and stuff. I don't think she really does casseroles. She did a lasagna soup last night, and I'm usually not into soup, but it smelled so good. I might have it tonight, but we have leftover fajitas. You can't get snubbed from, he's Dalton is trolling. Citizen JV says, have you heard of a game called Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon? I have not. Guys, we'll go to Writer's Room in 12 minutes, unless you guys manage to hit 150. We always have to have a hard stop, but the hard stop doesn't have to be at 2 o'clock. You can extend the stream one more time if you would like, but it would take quite a big bump. 12 minutes. We're going to go in 12 minutes. Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon. Okay. It's been on Steam since 2023 with an 84%. It is a dark reimagination of Arthurian legends in the first-person open-world RPG. It's still in early access. There is a demo. Oh, hang on. Oh, you were in a beta for this? I mean, this looks impressive for not being like a big mainstay AAA company. I don't know who made this, but this looks pretty good. I wouldn't play this. I can't do the first person thing. I cannot do the first person melee thing. I just don't like it. It feels so awkward. There is something almost immediately off-putting about it. Why do you call a slow cooker a crackpot? A crockpot? We call them, Madam actually calls them slow cookers, Hilly. She actually calls them slow cookers. She'll say crockpot. It's because of the brand. It's like why we call tissues Kleenex. The brand of crockpot, I think, became like the household brand for slow cookers. Oh, crackpot. No, crockpot. No, not crackpot. Yeah. Crockpot is literally the brand. See? Crockpot. The original slow cooker. It's honestly a terrible brand name. Crock? Like, what a crock pot? I don't know why you wouldn't just call it slow pot. I don't know. We always called it crock pot. Yeah, it's a brand name thing. It's just like we call tissue Kleenex because of the brand Kleenex just became the mainstay. Deity Anubis says, can I have Madam's cookbook? She doesn't really have a cookbook. She doesn't. She'll go to like Pinterest and different things, or watch little short videos of people that she likes on Instagram and stuff, and she'll like try out their recipes and stuff. So, can you smell what the croc is cooking? Horse brand name is Country Croc. Betty Crocker. Does it come from Betty Crocker? Is that why they called it Crock Pot? Where does the name Crock Pot come from? We're solving the real problems. The name Crock Pot comes from the brand name of the slow cooker Crock Pot, which was coined by the rival company in 1971. The name was a combination of the words crock and pot. The word crock comes from the Middle English word crock or croquet, which means earthenware jar, pot, or other container. The word crock can also be traced back to Proto-Indo-European word grog, which could mean vessel. Oh, grog, like growler, probably comes from that as well. Like grow with a G at the end of it. Yeah, there you go. So when someone says, what a crock of... they're literally saying, what a pot of crap. Like an earthenware jar with crap in it. It's a type of cooking vessel. Right. And so a crock pot, that's what they're saying. They're saying that it's quite literally like they're using that reference point to say it's a crock pot. That's funny. Especially when we hear people say, like, what a crock. All right, guys, 7 minutes. So no Bob Croc? No. In 7 minutes, we're going to writer's room. Unless someone pulls out a crazy miracle and extends again, we will be... My question is... a two-parter. Okay, wait. Hilly has a second question. He asks, is this an Xbox? Yeah, it is. Yeah, a lot of people say that, Hilly. They'll say they'll swear, and they'll say crock of, yeah, exactly. That's why when you hear country crock or crock pot, it does sound a little weird. It does sound a little strange. If that's where you've heard the word crock used before, it'll come across as very bizarre. Like, wait, why would you name your product that? Your typical crock pot does have more RAM than a Series S. Oh, man. Okay. Creature will not be at writer's room. He's under the weather. He's sick. That's probably why we got a video this morning, but the podcast feeds have not been updated yet. He is sick as a dog, he said. So hopefully he's well enough to do whatever we decide is a good video for tomorrow. No videos for tonight. We're going to start doing shorter videos for the evening when it seems appropriate. That probably won't happen right now because the news cycles are a little slow. Oh, your Alexa sounds like she's saying crack when saying crock, which is now going to keep me up. A crock. Why would it pronounce it that way? That is interesting that it would pronounce it that way, like crack. The GTA 6 countdown Twitter is literally just a post every day counting down. It's amazing. Yeah, Hadigan, I literally read that on stream. Are you guys not listening? A couple of you guys have done that today. You put things in the Discord that I literally said on stream. Did you not hear me say that? I read that quote, Hadigan, about how it's an earthenware jar, pot, cauldron. Yeah. Got nasty flu over Christmas. Fun times. Feel better? Yeah. It's like the worst time of the year to be sick. Tends to happen around now, though. Always people traveling. Randy Pitcher says, when I'm testing Borderlands 4 on Steam, can you guys see my account on a friends list and see that I'm playing Borderlands 4? Low-key dropping the hint that it's going to hit Steam. Okay, Randy. All right, 3 minutes. All right, here. I'm scheduling Writer's Room. We could certainly extend again because we don't have a creature and we're dealing with a really light news cycle. I may actually just not even worry about an upload if he's not feeling well. It's like probably best to not even worry about it. All right, Writer's Room for 2 o'clock in 3 minutes. We already knew it was coming to Steam. Oh, that's right, because didn't he get a lot of pushback about that? And P-Dub H-Town says, we can do it. We can get 50 members in 2 minutes, and he adds 1 to the count. That was an Agent of Chaos. Thank you so much. Pushing us past a nice even 100. Thank you, P-Dub H-Town. Lono needs to start doing New Year's Eve coverage. He has so much practice counting down time now. I'd be very good at it. I'd be the move over, Ryan Seacrest. Are you covering the PlayStation stuff tonight? I know. What are they even doing? Do they have like a scheduled time where they're talking about anything? At CES? I'm assuming that it'll be maybe Mark Cerny. All right, let me set up redirect. If you guys can't come with us to the writer's room, be sure to go check out my video about the GTA 6 problem. It's off to a nice start. You could give it a little bit of a bump. 60 seconds. 5 p.m. Pacific. I can't. No, I'm not covering that. You just keep pushing back midnight as people gift subs. You wouldn't get to midnight until like 4 a.m. That's right. It does look like we are gonna be done. Let me give you guys a link to the writer's room, and then I'll redirect you as well. It's Sony, no guarantee PlayStation's involved. Yeah, it could be stuff they're doing with their TVs, also displays, their other tech that they work on. Yeah. All right, it's 2 o'clock. We're going. Dismiss. Okay, some of you guys have been saying that redirect's inconsistent. Use the link in chat if redirect's not been working for you. Hey, thanks so much for being a member to the channel. We started off the week nice and strong. 100-something members today already. If you got a gifted member, you get access to this. This is the writer's room. It's the end of the day kind of planning session for the next day, looking at what's going on in the gaming news cycle. We also do morning coffee. Those are 2 segments that kind of bookend the day that's available to you as a member. If you're currently paying for your membership or you're on a gifted, consider upgrading to Member Plus. It's $6 a month and you get into more content. It empowers us to do more segments, and we are really looking this year to grow the group of people paying for their own members because we rely so heavily on gifting. We would like that to change this year. If you can get involved and support, please do so. If not, the gifteds are still there for you. That's one of the reasons we want to see people jump out of the gifted pool if they can. I'm going to end the previous stream and redirect folks over, and I will change that thumbnail because we are no longer live.